Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we are live.
We are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, postmarks.
Hello, postmarks. Hello, upNXTperts. Hello, poison pals.
And hello,
friends.
Friends.
Yes, we are your NXT friends, and what a time to be NXT friends, because we are here to chat all about NXT Battleground.
Yeah. A whole lot of stuff going on this weekend in just everything, really. So much wrestling going on. You had finales of TV shows going on, no spoilers.
Yeah.
We had two big shows, NXT Battleground head-to-head with AEW Double or Nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Not only that, we had Night of Champions the day before.
We had Night of Champions as well,
over in Jeddah. Man, things are going crazy this weekend. It's just a nice weekend of nice weather.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's the perfect weekend to be stuck inside watching wrestling
stuff
and talking about it all day.
Exactly.
It's beautiful here right now.
So, hey, welcome. We are going to chat all about some NXT Battleground. And then after that, stick around because we're going to hang out and talk a bit about some Double or Nothing and some Night of Champions as a little extra. We do a show called Poisonrana over on our feed. Go hit subscribe, go find us. And we thought, well, we didn't do one yesterday because of all the wrestling going on Sunday night. So we're going to talk a little bit about all the stuff going on here. So, we talk a lot about more other stuff than NXT as well. So maybe if you're just listening to this on the post feed, go find us wherever you find your podcast. Because Shot in the Dark, Sino, doing lots of other wrestling chat every week. I know he's got a What Up Doe coming out as well on our feed. And then I know Sino does a lot of like the reports and stuff over at postwrestling.com too. So lots of coverage.
Yeah, he's got a written report of NXT Battleground up on Post Wrestling right now.
He was one of the people who chose to watch NXT over AEW.
Maybe made the right choice. I don't know.
Yeah, is this where I have to apologize for scoffing and ridiculing and laughing at Shawn Michaels for picking such a date, even though he said it wasn't don't shoot the messenger, as he said. I didn't pick the date. Did we make the right choice last night? It'll all be told later tonight. But yeah, sorry, Shawn. I laughed at you. I mocked you.
I honestly don't believe Shawn Michaels is looking up venues in Massachusetts and going like, lol, on this weekend. I do think it's probably other people that do that.
I didn't get, I just, it's funny. It's like, oh, we're going to go head to head. And it's the Sunday Night Wars as it was. But yeah, lots and lots of wrestling to talk about. So, I mean, we'll get right into it, I guess, and talk about some NXT Battleground from last night. If you're in the YouTube chat, say what up. We will be going live again with a new upNXT tomorrow night for NXT with the weaponized steel cage match. So don't forget, we're always going live on our YouTube after NXT every Tuesday night. But we go to NXT Battleground 2023 from, Lowell, Massachusetts. Did I say it right? I still can't. I'm sorry. It's a thing. From the what is this? The Songa Center?
I believe so.
Yeah, cool. Well, we are kicking things off here with our opening match, which was we got this cool intro video actually. If you saw this week, Carmelo Hayes kind of getting a like hometown heroes welcome here, going to the Boston Celtics game. Actually, I know that the game on the night before was crazy.
Insane. Yeah.
So pretty cool that they're here tonight.
City's buzzing right now, I imagine.
Yeah, all the Celtics jersey. Someone was saying it was like a 0.00 something second left and the ball went in.
It was like right at the last
pretty crazy
millisecond.
Yeah. There's our sports talk for the evening. But we start off NXT Battleground with a championship match, and it is the North American Championship in a triple threat match. The champion Wesley defending against creepy Joe Gacy and Tyler Bate. The story going into this match is that Wes, for months, has just been like, I'll fight anyone and lets anyone challenge except people who are
my
nice.
friends, except Axiom and Tyler Bate.
Except people who are actually nice to him. And he's like, I don't give you opportunities. And that's just how it's been. And so Tyler Bate and him have become, stoner buddies, it seems, on Tuesday nights.
Meditating, yeah.
Yeah, sure. And then Joe is like, hey, I want a title shot, and somehow gets one. But then Tyler Bate reveals, hey, actually, if you're giving that guy a title shot, could you give me one? And Wes
lost it.
It's like
you're dead to me.
It's like
Tyler.
He hooked up with this girl or something.
Yeah.
He's like, what did you say? You want a shot? Wow. You stabbed me in the back, bro.
Yeah, I think this has probably been the weakest story going into this PLE. They keep on selling on commentary how Joe Gacy is a master manipulator in doing this. I'm like, I don't really know if he is.
What did
because
he do?
he basically changed a singles match to a triple threat match, which puts him at a disadvantage. Also, his master manipulation was going, hey, Wes, I think Tyler wants to go for your title as well. And
then Tyler went,
that was it.
Yeah,
I kind of do. That was it. So I thought the story going into this was very, very weak. However, you see the talent involved, and you just see this run Wesley has been on. He's kind of been the Orange Cassidy of NXT right now with this open challenge and just fighting everyone and consistently putting on great matches. So although wasn't too high on this story, I was pretty pumped to see these three go at it.
Yeah, we knew that these three would deliver, and they definitely did. So out comes Tyler Bate making his entrance. Joe Gacy with Ava Raine, Young Rock with the creepy Purge masks on. Still love is Blind, Joe Gacy's theme. One of the best themes going. Gacy toys with them early on and kind of says, like, you guys should fight. And then Wes and Bate aren't necessarily trying to fight each other just off the top there. Joe hits a tope to both of them here, and then in the ring goes after Wes. He hits a scoop slam into like a brainbuster, almost like the snowplow here. Joe Gacy, very similar. The creepiness of, I guess, Al Snow. There's like spots where all three of them are going for like continuous pinning attempts and like German suplexes into sunset flips and pretty cool back and forth. Tyler Bate gets both of them in a big swing and a fireman carry swing at the same time. The spin out thing. Pretty impressive. He didn't get like Claudio or Cesaro levels.
I don't know how much it would actually do to the person because you're very slowly spinning around here. The strength is impressive, but yeah, I don't know how effective.
Somehow both guys get up again, and it's Tyler who launches Wes into Gacy, who catches him and power bombs him to the mat, and then picks him up again, Brock Lesnar style, and power bombs him into Tyler Bate, who's standing. Joe Gacy, I will say, like, has gotten in way better shape than how we kind of first saw him show up here in NXT, like hitting like lift up, deadlift, power bombs and stuff like that. And I mean, he's wearing trunks here and no top, as he usually wears his waiter shirt, and he wasn't.
Yeah, he's been out of that for since they changed like GYV's gear as well, like since Ava really.
Gacy's on a roll here, hits both of them with this like DDT Uranagi combo, trying to get pinfalls here. He goes for the upside down, and Tyler goes for like the
cardiac kick.
Yeah, like the Tyler Bate does his clothesline that's very similar to the upside down. So they hit the like combo here as Wes is doing the double cardiac kick. It was pretty cool. There's then Wes hitting the spiral tap to break up near falls. There's a huge dive from Wes to the outside onto Tyler Bate. As he gets back in the ring, he's hit with a Uranagi from Gacy, but he kicks out of that. As Gacy goes for the upside down, Wes counters that into the cardiac kick and retains the title in just under 12 minutes at like 11:59 here.
Bates on the outside reluctantly clapping. He's like, oh man, you did it. You did it.
But he didn't pin me.
No.
That's what he's secretly thinking.
Yeah, I kind of hope we continue. I hope we maybe get an angle this Tuesday, tomorrow, with Tyler maybe turning on Wes to continue that. I thought it was a pretty good match, hot opener here. I like how we've kind of seen triple threat matches evolve. If you watch them like from like mid-90s when they kind of started doing them a lot more, you could tell like the guys didn't really know how to work them. And then you moved on to like the period of, okay, the formula is one person gets taken out, they're on the outside, the other two go at it, and you kind of rotate around. What you've been seeing in like the last year or so is these matches where all three guys are going at it at the same time.
Right.
We saw it with the four-way at Double or Nothing yesterday, and it allows for some really, because I think people can do cooler moves and transitions now, it makes for some really fun spots. And I think especially, as you mentioned, like the rebound lariat from Bate as the upside down's going on with the cardiac kick and stuff like that. It was really fun, and I thought the finish was really strong as well. But yeah, good opener. Could have done with a better story going into it. And I think a singles match would have been more interesting than this. But I thought the guys worked hard and it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, you're saying like where they're coming up with all the things. Like Joe Gacy's move is similar to the Tyler Bate move. So
exactly.
You know, I'm not a wrestler. I've never stepped in the ring. But I imagine part of the fun of coming up with things like that is, okay, well, your move is kind of similar to mine. And then Wes comes in doing his, you know, rebound rope spot. It's like coming up with things that connect in like, you know, like anyone can do the moves, but to come up with sequences and stuff is definitely part of what makes things so exciting and watching new things unfold. So I did think the chemistry between the three. Joe Gacy is someone like I really hated about a year or plus ago, and he's someone who just really stepped up. I like was a little familiar with his work before WWE, and I thought like, hey, this guy's got some promise. But now like the wrestling is connecting, and I don't know. I could see good things for him going forward. He's taken the ball and run with it.
I could certainly see him having a North American title reign.
Yeah.
And I think you'll probably be telling a similar story with Wes as you're telling with Orange, where over these matches he's gradually going to start breaking down from putting these defenses on all the time, and it could lead to someone like a Joe Gacy taking the advantage.
But yeah, look at me being creepy Joe Gacy's fan here, but I would like to see him go down, and him and Ava Raine, like that whole group. I'm not sure, but like I really like this match.
No, we saw quite a bit of Ava on the show today, but no Dijak.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
True. Yeah, we get a video for Tiffany Stratton hyping up her match later tonight for the NXT Women's Championship. We're kind of hearing her commentary on her like the tournament for the women's title here, and kind of explaining how she's beaten all these people clean, I might add, and how it's her time tonight, Tiffy time. We see Bron Breakker showing up all black and his chain hanging, black shades. He looking real mean. Mello also wearing black shows up with Trick, and we see the voice of the Boston Celtics, Sean Grand, they say here, and I guess that Mello was at the games all this week as well, over there in Boston.
Brought them some luck, I guess.
Yeah. We then get a video for the British Wrestling Heritage Cup, the rules of all the rounds matches and the history of the short rounds wrestling. So if you're a fan of NXT UK, or maybe you weren't, but hey, go on the network and check some of them out. Noam Dar has had a few of those matches over there. And this is the first time the cup will be defended on North American grounds.
Yeah.
Wow. We do a show called Was Next, and I know I referenced this like a week or so ago, but we've been going back in old NXT, and William Regal in 2013, 2014 is on commentary. And a few shows ago when we were watching, he was explaining like the history of the rounds matches and how he would wrestle at the fairgrounds, and this would be the norm kind of thing.
It would be like you'd watch World of Sport back in the day. Everything was rounds. It was, I guess if you're getting into wrestling and seeing it the first time, boxing was a lot more popular back then. So I think it was something, it definitely makes it feel more sports based. Just you put on TV and you see a scoreboard and a timer, automatically gives you that kind of sports feel. And I certainly think back in the day where, you know, everything was kayfabed and people did believe this was real, seeing these rounds matches makes it feel like a legit sport. Yeah,
it's a bit different. I'm not too huge. I'm more of a fan of this than the like ROH, what is it?
Pure Rules.
Pure. It gets a little too muddy for me, but like here it's just, well, it's shorter wrestling matches. And then if you get a point, you get a point. That's not that
2 out 3 falls over 6 rounds of 3
minutes.
minutes.
It's not that hard to kind of understand. Well, Dragon Lee is the challenger going up against Noam Dar, who is the defending Cup champion here. This is, like I said, the first defense in America, and we have Nathan Frazier being in the corner of Dragon Lee, and no one in the corner of Noam Dar. at first. No one's there, but that might change. So there's 3-minute rounds, and we start off with round 1 here. We have Dar being very slow and methodical. He keeps trying to go for different submissions. We saw him on NXT this week, and I thought he was a completely different wrestler from the last time I watched him, being very submission-based and technical, almost MMA influenced or something, kind of strange, even though he's got Pippi Longstocking's hair.
I mean, the braids are kind of
it's
popular
different
in MMA, aren't they? To tie their hair back.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, true. So the first round here is kind of very slow and like submission. It ends with Lee hitting this like jumping baseball kick, sending him to the outside as they like go to their corners now. And out comes Ora Mensa. We saw Noam Dar like talk to briefly on Tuesday night last week, being like, "Hey, can you be in my corner?" And he was like, "Nah, mate, sorry." Even though they have some history, but Ora Mensa's kind of had a change of heart here, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'll help you out here. I'll help you out." So he's trying to help him out.
I did find this a bit silly having it after the first round because they've gone 3 minutes and it's been mainly kind of slow submission based, and they're trying to sell that Noam Dar is just exhausted in the corner.
So tired.
We saw him go like 15 with Fraser on Tuesday.
Yeah,
like it's very much, you know, like when you're seeing those like elimination Survivor Series matches where people are getting pinned in 90 seconds from like a snapmare or something like that. It felt a bit like that where, all right, maybe you could have built up to that moment where Ora Mensa does come out where he actually needs a cornerman.
So he's like, "Hey, I've got you some water. I'm here for you." It's like Rocky with the, you know, almost like the spit buckets and stuff. Yeah. So round 2 starts off, and we get a running Rana from Dragon Lee, and then like a Jeff Hardy style drop kick in the corner. He's just putting the boots to Noam Dar here. There's like roll up attempts and a swinging rolling elbow, and like crazy roll up attempts from Dar, but still can't get Dragon Lee down here. And I think he does eventually roll him up with this almost like the Last Supper that Darby does. He had had his
tight
he had him up. Yeah. So Dar like gets the first fall right as this ends the round, right?
Round 2. Yeah, the round automatically ends.
Yeah. So now it is 1-0 for Noam Dar here. Even though he's happy when Mensa gives him water, he's like, I thought he said that's not water, or I don't know if he like wanted it cold or something. I couldn't tell what he was arguing about the water, but he was like being a heel essentially. When actually Booker T also was going off. Shout out Booker T, who I thought was actually really good tonight with Vic Joseph. Booker was like, "Vic, don't you know what a supernova is?" Clearly Booker just did what I did and Googled the supernova definition, because Booker was like, "You don't know this guy? He's a catastrophic explosion that ejects most of its He's just like reading off the thing like supernova. He's a big fan and says that Noam Dar might be in the new Fave 5 or the Fab 5. Round 3 starts off. Dar is working the knee and keeps trying to get a submission victory. There's super kicks from Dragon Lee, and then a crazy jumping over the ropes Rana, sending Dar to the floor. Very impressive. And then hits a tope. I love in these rounds matches, you hear the
clapper
for the 10-second countdown here. Isn't that kind of like in UFC and boxing and stuff like that? Real sports. So this kind of ends, but after the bell, we get the swinging elbow from Dar, and the ref is like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't know it was over.
Didn't hear it."
Yeah, which I clearly he's lying. He's a bad guy here.
Well, it's fun. Something like this, you need to find ways to cheat a bit differently, and I think getting the advantage, getting a blow in after the bell goes is a good way of doing it.
Well, the match now continues, even though Dragon Lee got beat up after the bell. He attacks Lee again and tries to keep pinning him. We get the back suplex into the arm bar, the Mighty Mouse special. Lee comes back though and gets a Texas Cloverleaf on Noam, which was pretty cool. Eventually Mensa attacks Nathan Frazier, really revealing his colors here. But Lee uses the distraction and hits this crazy tornado reverse DDT, very Matt Sydal-esque here, for a 1-1 now as it's tied. And everyone's kind of brawling here as we now go into round 5. And Lee goes for more Ranas and trying to get each near fall, but he's beating the hell out of Noam Dar in round 5. There's a sick last ride sit out power bomb, but somehow Noam Dar kicks out of that. And when Mensa's making a distraction, things are going crazy. Out comes Jakara Jackson, Miss Jackson. And when she's distracting the referee, Lash Legend grabs the spit bucket, hits Lee across the back when the ref isn't looking. We get the Nova Rolla, the running like PK to the face. Noam Dar pins Dragon Lee and retains the Heritage Cup in 11 minutes, 51 seconds as he celebrates with his, the Pinky Posse, the Pinky Party with Mensa, Miss Jackson, and Lash Legend. And I hate to say I told you so, but I think I said this was what was going to happen on last week.
Yeah, and I like it going forward. I think a load of big personalities there, and I think it's going to help someone like Oro Mensah, who has had a really stale debut, I think, in the last, 6 months he's been in NXT. Lash Legend needs a lot of work in the ring, but is a good talker, and I think she will bounce off Noam Dar in, quite a fun way. So happy with the kind of debut of this new faction, I guess. I thought the match was good. I thought there were some really nice stuff in here. I liked a lot of Noam's counters. There was a point where Dragon was going for an enziguri, and he countered it mid-air into a mid-air Dragon through right into the ankle lock. I think it's all those sort of things were really nice. But I kind of would have liked them to have worked the rounds a little bit more effectively, because I felt the style that they were going for, it made whenever there was the bell goes, it kind of just put a break in the action. And I think maybe going for more of a submission-based match would have worked better for this style. There weren't really the teases of, is someone going to tap with, but the clapper's gone and they can just hold on, now their arm is kind of fucked for the next round. I thought they could have worked the rounds a little better. And I think with these two, I'd have preferred it maybe without this stipulation. But I do like that they're doing this. You can't have every match just be the same thing. And I'd rather them, go outside the box and do something like a rounds match than just another hardcore match, no DQ, stuff like that. But would have preferred just a standard, I think, with these two.
I still prefer a regular match, even a 2 out of 3 falls. But I get that they're trying to make something a bit different with these things. So I definitely got into it. So I remember we did the podcast covering the best of NXT UK, and one of the Dar rounds matches was on it, and we were both pretty high on it. I would put this in the same ranking. Hey, it was pretty fun, but it just makes me go, hey, what if you just fought in a match?
I know they're all heels, but I feel like Gulak and Dempsey make way more sense in this division than Dragon Lee and Nathan Fraser, who are a bit more spectacular and would be better maybe in the North American division.
Yeah, maybe he'll get back out of that and go after the other way around. But yeah, Noam Dar definitely playing up a good heel. I'm so happy that he's teamed with these people and instantly gave them something to do.
What are they going to be called?
I mean, they joked and called it the Pinky Party because he used to do the thing with his pinky back in the day, right? But I don't know. Yeah.
With just the Supernovas?
Supernova. He calls himself now the Supernova 11 because I guess Champagne Supernova was a little too close to Noam.
Yeah, he was the Scottish Supernova.
Right, okay.
Supernova 11.
Supernova.
A football thing,
he calls himself that and wears 11 on his jersey, and his Titantron has 11.
Yeah.
Ever since coming to NXT North America. But yeah, what would you call this crew? I'm just so happy. He was, as soon as I joked, hey, we don't have Alicia Fox anymore. Alicia Fox, and now in comes his new group of friends, and I'm loving that. Chris Leone in the chat right now says Noam Dar's got that Riz. Yeah, he does with those braids, baby.
Chris Elliott pointing out as well, Dragon Lee was very lucky with that second Rana he did on the floor, which was kind of countered into a powerbomb.
He countered him, yeah. He apron bombed him, yeah. Noam Dar coming out of nowhere is just he's standing out instantly since wrestling again on NXT TV and this show. Very, very fun match.
Apparently, the original Pinky Party was Dar, Shah Samuels, and Grado in ICW.
Oh, okay. Well, could you steal the name and just call that?
Fuck ICW. No, they booted him off the network, didn't they? They're not giving him anything anymore.
I love
a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, get Session Moth in there. Well, we already got Gallus in NXT. We're good. Yeah. Let us know, what would you call Supernova? I'm sure they'll have a name by Tuesday, so can't wait. We get a commercial for Money in the Bank. You didn't see this, but it's James Bond. It's as if all the superstars are grabbing the money.
Well, it's at the very arena that Pierce Brosnan rolled down.
Whoa, what movie is that?
World Is Not Enough.
Yeah, right.
The opening credits.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow. We get a commercial also for JC Jane and Gigi, the weaponized steel cage match this Tuesday night. But we go to another match that is very dangerous and weaponized. A last man standing match. Ilja Dragunov versus Dijak. So if you've been following this story, it's been not great. It's been very erotic. The promo for it, you can understand what I'm saying. Torture porn.
So yeah, Dijak feels like he can break any man's will he can crush, but Dragunov cannot be broken.
Yeah.
So he even took him to his torture dungeon and tried to torture him, and he didn't break him there. So he's like, you know where I can break him? In LOL.
Yeah. The week where he had him in like against the chains with the dark video was very, very strange. It would of course that would be the segment of wrestling you were watching when a family member entered the room and went, "What are you watching there?"
It was more Casino Royale, Daniel Craig, James Bond, rather than cheesy Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore.
If we're talking Bond,
James Bond, for sure.
But it's too serious, guys. Dijak might be a cop or a narc or whatever his character is, but he likes to torture people. And Dragunov's a crazy Russian dude who loves being tortured. So they're really a match made in heaven for this match, a last man standing match. Dijak and Dragunov. These two start off, and it is a slugfest. I swear both their chests are already a pinkish or reddish hue, like 30 seconds to a minute into the match. Dijak is getting chopped up. Ilja's getting chopped up. Booker T and Vic are like, put the kids to bed because this one's going to be violent. And it just is that. Ilja already sets up early with the steel steps what he did to Dijak, which is like his jumping fucking forearm to the face, the blow. Bomb or whatever. He goes for this, but eats a boot right away and then gets suplexed onto the steel steps. Dijak then holds a table, and Ilja just doesn't care and runs at him through the table into him.
I don't know how smart this was.
I
mean, he ends up winning the match, so I guess it worked out for him.
I laughed at this, but also was like,
it was
badass.
ridiculous. But
yeah. It reminds me of, I swear we've seen Kenny do that before, where he's like, well, like, I'm just going to like run through it with it. But this guy just made the table like explode. There's like German suplexes attempt, but he gets thrown back and head first into the steps, and then like a DDT. Dijak's beating him up here. Ilja comes back though and sets Dijak up in the corner and hits a coast to coast into the steps, but Dijak gets up at a 9 count here. He can't keep the big man down. There's tons of chops exchanging, and you know it's a good match, and Ilja can attest to being one of the best choppers, because when he chops him, you see the sweat fly, and just it looks awesome. He's chopping him, they're chopping each other. There's like a half and half dragon type suplex overhead, but Dijak still gets up. It's a battle, it's a war. They're yelling at each other, they're slapping each other across the face. Dijak then gets out of the ring and grabs a kendo stick. And you want to talk about torture. He wallops this guy. He is nailing Ilja like in the gut, in the back, in the chest.
He's wiping. So Ilja's got a cut on his face, and he wipes the stick on his face, and then is like shoving it. He's like, "This is your blood."
Oh man, this kendo stick exploded into pieces by the end of it. It was just nasty, and He like the kendo stick is just in pieces, and he's ripping it and getting blood all over it, like you said. And then he yells at Ilja, "Do you feel alive?" And Ilja responds, "Not even close," as he gets back up. And somehow he drops the bomb on Dijak here. He's flying at him here. And then eventually he's got Dijak nailed with a chair. And Dijak's now like face down into a steel chair. And Ilja runs up the steps and does his diving bomb, but now to the back of the head of Dijak, who's now sandwiched in between the chair.
He's also got the steps like vertically upright.
Yeah.
So he stood higher than they would normally be.
I'm thinking, think of like any epic movie, fight scene, medieval type shit, even Star Wars. Like, I have the high ground now, and this guy is cooked, and he jumps and nails him to the back of the head. Very crazy nasty finish. I instantly knew this had to be it, and the ref counts the 10 count, and Ilja Dragunov is the last man standing in quite a match here. Wow, what a match.
Yeah, like the feud has been a little goofy, but I think in the last couple of weeks when they've been doing the brawls actually in the arena, you've seen the physicality these two have. I mean, we've come to know it from, Dijak's feud with Keith Lee in the past and Dragunov with Walter, obviously. Like, you know what these two are capable of. And I thought they brought that intensity and violence to this match. There's a part of me that I'm watching this after watching Double or Nothing, and I'm like, oh man, I wish these two were like allowed to go a bit more. Obviously, you've got a few of those WWE restrictions with how far you can go with the violence. But I thought they brought it pretty much as far as they could within those restrictions. And there was a spot I really liked with the Feast Your Eyes from Dijak, where because it's a pretty protective move from Dijak, and Ilja like eats the knee to the face and just stumbles back and falls into the turnbuckle. So he's like knocked out, but he's technically on his feet.
Yeah.
And it's like, that would have, if the turnbuckle was 3 feet further away, he'd have probably been down. But I thought that was a quite smart little spot, which could have looked contrived, but I thought was executed perfectly. And just continuing Dragunov just being this absolute beast.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, his body was red and welts all over. They posted a photo. He shared it earlier this morning, and it's just like his whole body looks beaten and bruised. This was one of the best last man standing matches, and they didn't have to get like too crazy or bloody. It was kind of simple.
And they didn't do too many counts either.
Yeah,
I think
which gets so contrived, right?
Some like last man standing or I quit matches that I hate. It's like,
do you quit?
It's like a spine buster in the first 30 seconds, and it's like 1, 2. It's like, dude, I'm getting up from that. Or do you quit? Are you quitting?
It was good. I really loved Ilja Dragunov. It was interesting because I mentioned when Booker T and Vic right before the match starts are like, yo, put the kids to bed. Dijak is making his entrance, and he turns to these people in the crowd, and he says like, don't watch what I'm about to do. Apparently it's his wife and his own kid.
Oh, right.
Dijak is from Massachusetts.
Right.
So this is his hometown as well. So that's why the crowd were giving him a reaction. But his wife and his kid were sitting there, and he's like, don't watch what I'm about to do. And then he goes and gets murdered by Dragunov here. But yeah.
You said awesome. Book had a good night, but he definitely thought this was an I quit match for majority of this match. He's like, oh, there's only one way you can win, and that's making your opponent quit. I'm like, it's not. But yeah, fair enough.
No, this was great. Dijak, since coming back to NXT, he's been silly, but the matches have connected. I'm thinking back to his match with Wes as well.
Yeah.
This feud is over. Dragunov needs to go up to the main roster.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, it's one of the things where if Bron Breakker was still your champion as a heel Bron Breakker, that's a match I'd really want to see. Maybe that's now Breakker's out of that program. That's a match you could do because I think that's a dynamic I'd really love. Just Bron just beating the shit out of this guy and who doesn't give up. But yeah, apart from that, I can't really see him going for the championship while Mello is holding it, although I'm sure that would be a great match as well. So I would see a call-up happening after SummerSlam, something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of dream match. This guy is amazing. They're sitting on like money and just sitting on a superstar with this guy. The intensity is unmatched. No one has the intensity that Ilja Dragunov has, and a match like this just shows that. Like, there's so many dream matches. I do just want to see him versus Danielson eventually when D-Bry goes back to the Fed to retire. But we need the Walter.
I mean,
match again.
I think
Gunther.
Walter on a big stage is something Triple H has in his back pocket.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think you could bring in Ilja cold for that match,
right?
And it would be like, we don't need to do video packages for this guy or anything. Just have them have the match that you know they can do,
right?
And everyone will be talking about Ilja Dragunov after it. I think that's the best way to showcase this guy.
Yeah.
Was this your match of the night?
I think so. Like this match of at least match of this show.
Match of NXT.
I think you know what I liked every match on this show, but this one definitely stood out as just. I'm such a fan of Dragunov, man. He's someone I can't wait to. Would love to hear other people's opinions of what their match of the night was, but also Some dream matches.
What to do with this guy?
Yeah, where do you go with this guy? Because he's just so awesome. And if you're not putting the title on him here, like, use him somewhere else.
Chris Elliott brings up the state of Dragunov's arm as well. Did you see this, like, huge, just purple lump?
Disgusting.
It was horrible.
He looks like he
looked like he'd broken it.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Both hats off to Dijak and Dragunov. Dijak could go back to the main roster too. Just do this gimmick, I guess.
To be honest, yeah, I think there's a way of making this gimmick work. I think they debuted it in a very cheesy way, but this is way better than his T-Bar character or whatever. And but it's how you book him. You know, if he's coming in like this and winning matches and looking strong, there's no reason why this guy couldn't be like an upper mid-card heel in WWE.
And he's tall, he's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Glad he got to... I hope he didn't scare his wife and kid too much with that match, though. We get a segment. It's Chase U, or Duke U, because Andre Chase still nowhere to be found.
Still using the name Chase U, but we still haven't... Is it since Breaker took him out, right? I think so.
Well, we have Duke talking to his students here. He says, I have the results of all your tests, and you all did really well, except you, Ricky. You suck, Ricky.
Fucking suck, Ricky. Get out of here.
So he's learned a lot from Andre. He's doing Andre's like bits, right? Like, F you, Ricky. He says, anyways, moving on. He's got guest speakers for today's class to teach us how to, win wrestling matches. And in comes Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. And they say, we want to show you some clips of what not to do. And they show clips of Thea Hale's match where she lost to Kiana James. And she starts to cry and she runs out of the classroom. And Gulak says, crying? There's no crying in WWE. Clearly said, can I say there's no crying in wrestling? And they said, no, we're not allowed to say that word. So crying in WWE. And Duke says, that wasn't cool. And kind of confronts them about it. Stands up for Chase U. So perhaps we're getting a Chase U versus Drew.
I think he said something about teaching him a lesson next week. So I think this is a match happening on Tuesday. But yeah, I still question Duke. Is this Duke kind of playing good cop, bad cop?
Right.
Or is he's like, I need you to come in and just shit on Thea Hale? And then I'll be like, oh, no, it's okay.
But maybe he's trying
to toughen her up, hasn't he? And because they were saying, she had no defense. She needs to learn to like counter and submit and that kind of thing. So possibly. I think it's Duke still kind of playing with these students here.
Yeah. Well, we get Noam Dar celebrating with the Heritage Cup with Ms. Jackson and Lash Legend and Ora Mensa, and they're just so happy and they're so excited, and they'll be celebrating this week on NXT. But we're gonna have to hear from them, I think, this week, and that's probably when we'll find out their name and their MO. But I think they saw the light. Hey, this guy's a winner. Maybe we should hang out with this guy. So I'm loving things for Noam Dar right now. Hey, are you looking for a party on July 30th?
Yeah, sure.
The next NXT PLE, the Great American Bash. Look at that. They have the whole, not even just the bash. The Great American Bash, Sunday, July 30th in Cedar Park, Texas.
Nice.
You going?
No, because I'll be going to Detroit 5 days later.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I was very pleased with this because they said it's on a Sunday,
right?
Which means I don't have to lose a shift at work.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Yep. Is there an AEW pay-per-view that night?
No. It seems to be clear.
Sure?
I'm sure Impact will probably schedule something, but I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
Or ROH or something.
Who?
But yeah, Great American Bash. I think it's good. I like that they're doing way more of these NXT PLEs, taking them on the road. I think the reactions from the crowd have been pretty good, and I think it's a good test to see, who of these characters are over outside of the Performance Center, because you have very supportive crowds there who go every week and they know every character. So I think it's a good idea to take them on the road to see, okay, which of these characters are working on a broader scale that we could potentially move up. So I think NXT has been thriving recently, and it's always good when they've got a destination, whether it's one of their themed kind of Tuesday night shows or a big PLE.
Yeah, it's better that they go on the road. So I'm not familiar with Texas too much. I'm Canadian, sorry. But Cedar Park is in the Austin, Texas area.
Oh, fun.
So
maybe we should go.
Cool. At least it's not near Corpus Christi, right?
Yeah, no.
As long as they don't go there. That could be pretty fun. So it is the week before SummerSlam.
Sunday before SummerSlam.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. We will be covering that show somehow, some way. We go to our next match. It is the NXT Tag Team Championship on the line. The champions, Gallus, the Gallus boys on top versus the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus. And at first, Vic Joseph kind of slips up, a rare slip up from Vic, calling Joe Coffey Joe Gacy. And Booker checks him and says, "How could you, Vic? That's Joe Coffey. You know Joe Coffey. He's good to the last drop," which got a pop from me. I love when he says that. We get the Creeds coming in here, and they're kind of running shop here on the Gallus lads, on Mark Coffey. They're working the knees and twisting around and getting the best of him. When Wolfie comes in and Mark starts to tag and get the ground and pound on Julius, who makes a tag to Brutus, Julius does this like distraction thing where he runs the ropes and then goes to the outside and goes, "Hey, Ivy, watch this." And then it distracts them as Brutus comes off the top and then starts to Brutus smash. Eventually hits an angle slam on Mark Coffey for a near fall. Julius now comes in with this hot tag. And is it a hot tag? We've seen him do some pretty freakish things on NXT TV, but this was a step up. He hits a belly to belly and then does a kip up. He hits another belly to belly and does another kip up. And another, and another, and another. This guy, Julius Creed, is a machine.
I just worry one day he's going to do this and just completely tear his abs or something, because it's crazy. These are not like little guys.
No.
He's
Wolfie
throwing around.
and
Wolfgang
Mark
and Mark Coffey, they're big lads. And he's just throwing them around and then having the energy to kip up after it and then do it again and again and again.
He did a bunch.
I say every time, this guy's just a freak.
Yeah.
Like, he's so athletic, so
wrestling
good.
machine. Yeah, this guy's nonstop. And then one huge big one again. And then a standing star press. And then a standing moonsault by Brutus. They're running shop here. Brutus eventually hits the Brutus ball, the cannonball off the top. Again, a near fall. The Creeds now gaining control.
There was a moment, Book calls it a cannonball. And he's like, Vic's like, "No, that's the Brutus bomb. A cannonball would be in the..."
Never mind.
You know, Book, I'll tell you later.
There's then a spot where like all four guys are kind of together in the ring and the Creeds talking to each other. He goes, "We got this. We got this. We got this. I love you, brother." And then they continue to fight. It all breaks down. There's Joe Coffey who's trying to get involved here, and Ivy eventually trips him to like even the odds, but Ava Rain runs down to the ring and throws Ivy headfirst into the post, which shocks and distracts Julius as they pick him up and they hit the Gallus, the Gallo Gate, I think as they're calling it now, which is the spin out,
The knee spinning TKO
boot
thing.
Yeah, it's a cool finish for sure and looked good here as they get the 1, 2, 3, and the Gallus boys are on top, just like they said, as they retain in 9 minutes and 33 seconds.
This didn't quite hit to the level I was hoping it would. Aside from kind of that Julius hot tag, I was expecting a little bit more. I think we've been very negative on Gallus over the years, and we have seen them step up. I thought their match with Dyad a few weeks ago was really good, and I'd probably put that above this match. And also just didn't like the finish. I didn't quite get why Ava was there. We've already seen her tonight. She hasn't really had much to do with this story. Maybe with Ivy, but it just felt a bit of a weak finish for me. So it wasn't terrible, but didn't kind of hit the gear that I was hoping it would.
Yeah, I still really liked it. The Creeds are impressive and will be a big deal in WWE, specifically Julius too. But I love me some Brutus balls. But I did think that this match wasn't as good as the Creeds versus the Dyad lads.
Yeah.
Like what, last week, 2 weeks ago? Because that was a banger. That tag team match was must watch. But the Gallus guys have improved, don't get me wrong. And I like them with Joe Coffey, but he didn't even really help them win. So it's like,
yeah,
unless we're going towards the Dyad winning these titles somehow, that's why Ava Rain's involved?
But that you'd assume that's setting up Dyad and Creeds again.
It's just weird.
Or Ava's having a program with Ivy, but just doesn't seem the right match to really. So is it what? Are Creed's gonna blame Ivy for this strat? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it did seem a bit of a weak finish to me.
Yeah. I got into it, but yeah, not kind of the level that we've seen from them before. We get a video for NXT Anonymous and the mystery attacker, mystery hacker, possibly. I don't think NXT Anonymous and this person are the same person, but
no, Anonymous has been following them,
Right.
catching them,
Yeah.
attack people.
It's them talking. It's like all these like AI generated voices where it's like, I've wreaked havoc, and this Tuesday I reveal myself.
So seemed to have a British accent in this as well.
One of the voices did, yeah.
So I think we're still probably between Blair Davenport and Stevie Turner.
Or they're, these two are people, a little younger than us in their 20s. They're probably like us, and maybe they're a big fan of this little movie called Scream, where it's spoilers. There's two of them.
Or they're a fan of Legado del Fantasma, right?
And there's three of them. Yeah, like maybe it's like Stevie Turner's the one who's good at the the hacking and the tech stuff, and Blair's just good at beating people up. I don't know.
I mean, we do need new tag teams.
Yeah.
What we don't know.
We even have a team.
Well, we
really.
don't know what's going on with that championship at the moment because the Witches are on the main roster. But these two coming in as a heel, it doesn't really make sense that you'd position them against Tiffany right away.
Yeah.
So I assume these are going to be you might be right. It could be Stevie and Blair Davenport as a tag team.
We'll get the epic moment when you think it's one person and then it's revealed. The best part of that new Scream movie was without giving anything away, the one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. Without spoiling. Good stuff. If you know, you know. Hey, shout out the band Paris for the song Animal.
Paris with a V.
That's the style, right?
Paris.
Yeah. Good stuff. We get a video for the Bird Lady, Lyra Valkyria, her side of the story for her title match, talking about the Morgan would take shape of a crow, and that's kind of why she's shaped like a crow. I mean, her gear, her feathers. She's earned the feathers from every battle that I've won, and tonight I gain new feathers. I am evolving. She's going to take flight, which leads us into this match, the tournament final for the vacant NXT Women's Championship. This title's been flip-flopped around, kind of cursed for the past little while. We had Roxanne win it in kind of a shocking fashion from Mandy Rose, who for the first time has been seen on a boat with NXT talent on social media this weekend.
Oh, right, yeah.
So maybe she's coming back. And then Roxanne relinquished the title because of an injury or anxiety, and then went, no, I'm still the champion. But then ended up losing it to Indy Hartwell, who then defended the title and got injured, but then still won the match, and then got drafted, and then gave it the title, and then we had a tournament, and now we're here in the finals, Tiffany and the Bird Lady. Yeah.
So maybe Mandy is the one coming back on Tuesday to just take this title back.
Yeah, maybe.
You do have JC and Gigi fighting, don't you?
Girls, just stop fighting.
Yeah.
Better as a team. So Lyra Valkyria versus Tiffany Stratton here. Lyra comes out wearing her bird gear, but she's got some gold feathers because she's looking to get some gold here tonight. Tiffany Stratton coming out with the pigtail look and the whole buff Barbie kind of look going on. I love the like fake paparazzi for her entrance, like the snapshots and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So this match starts off Tiffany and Lyra one-on-one. They kind of do a bunch of the drop downs and back and forth, and Lyra seems to like tweak her knee, but I think it's like she starts to
from the leapfrog, right?
Yeah, which Tiffany eventually starts to target here. Tiff then scouts the knee like tweak and then throws her like knee first into the post on the outside and continues to work it. Hits a dragon screw here. Tiffany, clearly a fan of her Japanese wrestling, locks in the Muda lock.
Oh yeah,
we've been talking about how Tiff, all her moves are like a lot of old school wrestling legends essentially.
Absolutely.
So she knows her stuff clearly, or whoever she was. Like I was reading a Gagne like taught her how to wrestle or something. Greg Gagne?
Fern Gagne?
No, different one. There's then Tiff, who's just beating her up here. The Muda lock, like I mentioned, but Lyra gets out of that. Lyra starts to come back and starts to go for her kicks. She hits a series of combos and then the axe kick to like the crown of the head for a near fall. There's then a Northern Light suplex and then again and again. But the third time she's dropped down from Tiff as she works the leg. She fires back though off the top of the crossbody for a near fall. Gets a crucifix bomb on Tiff, who's going for like her you can't escape, but it's countered into that. But Tiff gets out of that. Tiff then hits this like seated drop kick to the face for a near fall. Lyra comes back with a huge German suplex, but then as she goes for like a kick, she like buckles her knee and she can't hit her finish, which is that like spinning, what are we calling it? The crow kick?
Yeah, the Falcon kick.
The Falcon kick.
The
But
roundhouse.
she can't do it, so Tiff like gets out of there and hits the you can't escape and goes for the prettiest moonsault, but Lyra gets out of the way, no water in the pool, and Tiff gets up and eventually is hit with the Falcon kick to the head. But as she goes for the pin, Tiff gets her foot on the rope at the 2 count, so the ref does not call it. As they get back up, Lyra again buckling on her leg. Tiffany picks her up, hits the you can't escape one more time, which sets up for the prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3 in 16 minutes and 1 second. Tiffany Stratton makes it happen and becomes your new women's champion.
Yeah, we predicted that it makes the most sense that Tiffany goes over in this. I thought these two had a really nice match. I liked the introduction of the knee. Lyra has been kind of positioned as more of one of the sort of veterans in the division, and Tiff still very new to this. So I thought that it somewhat protected Lyra in this defeat as well, but also gave Tiffany another clean win. She's won every match in this tournament clean, hasn't used the handbag or anything like that at all. She's come out of this really strong. I think she's the perfect character to hold this title. It is time though to you've got to build up some baby faces, because there's no one really that I can think of. Gigi and Roxy, right? And Roxy's kind of been in this picture maybe a bit too much. But yeah, I thought this was strong. And I thought Lyra's selling of the knee, kind of how her kicks were just that little bit weaker, was pretty nice.
Yeah, this was great. I mean, the NXT women's title, in my opinion, kind of has been cursed. You look back a few years ago when everyone would be praising NXT's women division. We've had, obviously, the 4 horsewomen come through. We've had people like Io Shirai, Bianca Belair. We haven't really had these matches that have, in my opinion, like felt at that level for quite a while.
No,
right?
and I don't think this reached that.
I don't think it got to that level, but now going forward, I'm feeling a bit more like, oh, now I'm a bit more interested of. Right now, yeah, you're right. Tiffany doesn't really have a lot of challengers, but there's some people in the wings later on. Not the Bird Lady, but like there's a few people in the wings eventually, like your Sol Ruka's in a year, and like there's some people coming through now that I could see.
What do you see for a Jordan Grace, who rumors have it she's probably departing Impact? Do you see her as someone who is going to AEW? Do you see her someone who goes straight to the main roster, or do you see her having a bit of a run in NXT?
I don't know. That would be interesting. I mean, right now we have the buff Barbie of Tiffany Stratton, but I don't know. Would she fit in AEW a bit more or WWE?
But I could see her as a character that Tiffany could kind of, be quite mean to.
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing this a year. You've been going around the world for 10 years and we're still here and I'm the champion. Like all that kind of stuff. I think that could be a quite nice program if they were to bring her in. I think Jordan Grace is like one of the best women in the world, so I am kind of excited to see where she goes. And WWE does still, in my opinion, have the best women's roster. Yeah. So I kind of prefer to maybe see her kicking it around here.
In a year or two, you'll be seeing Tiffany win WWE gold.
Oh, I 100% see her as a women's champion.
Yeah, she'll be having huge encounters with some of the big stars right now. I see just such big things. This is her first big like PLE pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, match that it did still deliver for me. I really got into this. Lyra too is fantastic. There's a reason why they put her in this match. She made Tiff look so good. Yeah. And I mean Tiff does a lot on her own. That moonsault is literally what it says on the tin. Prettiest moonsault ever. She hits it with such beauty.
And she's got the stuff like in between the moves. I think everyone should watch someone like a Kevin Owens wrestle, because he's always doing stuff. He's always yelling at his opponent, yelling to the camera, yelling to the crowd. And she's got that. And it's something we see on NXT quite a lot, especially the kind of newer women, is there isn't that kind of connective tissue between each move. We've seen it with Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka can do some really cool stuff, but then it's like, walk to my next spot to set up for this other cool flip I'm doing. And I think Tiff's definitely showing more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And she now's the champion. I was waiting for her to become champion. I see a lot of promise in going forward and some better matches.
I think you could maybe do Gigi if she wins the cage match on Tuesday, you could have her as a first challenger for Tiffany.
Tiff should have a long reign.
Yeah.
She should beat a lot of people going forward. Well, Tiffany Stratton. It's a Tiffany epiphany. Congrats. We go to our main event. The NXT Championship on the line. The champion, Carmelo Hayes, in his hometown, his neck of the woods here, going up against Bron Breakker. And out comes the challenger, Bron, with his goofy dog mask on.
I quite liked it. It's like Shingo's dragon mask,
yeah.
but a dog. I didn't mind it. I thought it looked kind of cool.
Japanese dog mask. Actually, the mask was really cool, but he was wearing a bloody hoodie.
Right.
Because I guess he's implying that he's got that dog in him, and he's like a werewolf, a were-dog.
I liked the mask. I wasn't as keen of the placement of the dog face, which was kind of quite close to his big dog as well.
Right, got you. Yeah. The hoodie for me looked like he bought a hoodie and then just cut it up and then put fake Halloween blood on it.
Probably did.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, the mask looks like it was made proper, but then you just cheaped out on that. But anyways, I think he looks better as a bad guy. He looks so meaner. The goatee, the black gear. When he took the hoodie off, he looks scary. He's got the meaner than evil and the dog face thing, right? That's what you were talking about in his tights. Out comes Trick to introduce the champion. He says, this is the city of champions, the city of green, the city of beans, the Celtics, and we're going to get this win. And out comes Carmelo Hayes. With his entrance, he holds up his arms, revealing it's kind of spells out him, because he is him. Big reaction for, I'd say, both people. I mean, Bron got the boos and the energy of the crowd, and Melo obviously getting a big reaction because he's their hometown boy. As we go into this match, Bron and Melo 2, meaner than evil. Melo comes out the gate firing off at Bron, trying to hit him with a series of pump kicks, sending him to the outside, and then hits a dive over the top, almost not getting him here, but lands on him and starts to punch him.
I don't know if that was kind of something he thought on the fly, because he grazed Bron and almost completely ate shit, but just pounces on him right away. And I thought it made this energy of the beginning of the match quite Bron's had Melo's number every single week building it up to this match. So I think Melo came in with this game plan where I got to just throw everything at him. The very first move was a drop kick to the knee, and then just relentless and these punches. I thought it was a really hot opener for this match.
Well, the crowd's really hot for Melo doing all of this stuff as he's like, come on, and the crowd are reacting. He gets back in the ring, but now Bron is on the attack and just somehow counters Melo and hits this huge lariat, putting him inside out here. Now Bron on the attack, hitting his belly to belly suplexes, but some of them are the side ones, and just throwing this guy around. What a dog, literally. He's just throwing him, beating him up. Starts to do push-ups like his Uncle Scott, and tries to go for the recliner, but Melo escapes out of that. Eventually, Melo's trying to hit what we could think is the nothing but net or the fadeaway. Bron hitting almost springboarding up to hit a Frankensteiner off the top on Melo. Very impressive here. I don't think I saw Scott use the springboard
to do it.
Very impressive. Eventually, Bron now hits him with more suplexes, German suplexes. It's very suplex city here, Brock Lesnar just stalking him here. Eventually goes for a standing suplex, but it's countered into a DDT from Melo, which tries to come back here, gets a near fall. Melo eventually connects with his flying springboard clothesline, turning Bron inside out, but Bron kicks out of it. Melo goes for his satellite facebuster, but Bron kicks out at not even a 1 and goes is that the best you can got? Come on, hit me, and starts punching himself in the face. So Melo picks him up and hits his suplex cutter, but Bron kicks out at 2. Very cool spot here. Melo, keeping his cool and composure, goes for his springboard flying clothesline again, but in mid-air, he is speared out of the sky.
Bron has the timing of this so good.
This one even better than the one from a few weeks.
Awesome.
The one from a few weeks ago, they've replayed 100 times. It's one of the best spears ever, and they outdone it with this one here, just crushing him. But Melo kicks out. The crowd is buzzing for him here. They're behind him. Eventually, Bron goes for what we think is the power slam, but Melo kicks out of it, goes to the up top, and hits nothing but net. 1, 2, 3 in 14 minutes, 14 seconds. Carmelo Hayes pins Bron Breakker and retains the NXT Championship.
I way preferred this to their first match at Stand and Deliver.
Absolutely.
I think just having the roles more defined, Bron as a big bad heel, Melo fighting from underneath. I like the style how, as I said, Melo was all on top of him at the beginning, and Bron just catches him with one kind of shoulder to the ribs, to the apron, and he's got control because he's that much bigger and powerful. I thought there was some really nice counters in this match as well, like the military press gets countered to the code breaker, which looked pretty cool. And then Melo, we've seen him do this once before. It's as if he's going for his springboard clothesline, but Bron's facing the other way, so he just springboards backwards into the DDT, which looked really cool. I did feel, however, maybe the finish kind of came a bit out of nowhere. I didn't feel that escalation. We had the big near fall with the spear, and I just thought it needed a bit more of that crescendo before you finally got that.
I thought Bron was kicking out of it. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, it felt like it was that, and we were going to get one more kind of sequence for the finish. I was kind of, oh, that's it. Especially with Melo kicking out the spear earlier. But I thought this was a way better main event than the last one these two had, and solidifies Melo. Like, he got the clean win now over Breakker. And can really start this championship reign. Yeah,
not the finish. I thought, like, obviously the crowd being super into Melo is like, either way, I am a big fan of this whole act with him and Trick especially. But part of me was like, it'd be a bit more interesting and a bit shaking things up if heel Bron got the title back here. And I was expecting him to pin, so they got me on, oh wow, he didn't kick out of that.
So who do you see as next challenger for Melo?
I mean, you gotta think Ilja is doing something, but I don't know if you would necessarily go to that, because I think Ilja would slap Melo around there. But I don't know who else. That really makes the most sense. He won the big singles match earlier.
Ilja?
Right? Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other heels you have right now.
Yeah, not a whole lot right now. So that is interesting.
There's always the bringing someone down for a match, maybe. But yeah, I don't think there's a clear. Let's see the YouTube room. Who do you think is next?
Well, Brandon from New Jersey says you should fight him, so that's always good.
And he gave us money as well to say.
Oh,
thanks
nice.
for the super chat.
Thank you. You know what though? I totally agree. Like I don't think the first Bron and Melo match hit quite as much as I thought it was, but this one did, and I'm really glad they did it. This is like. This feud is over. He beat him. So, like, does Bron go to the main roster now?
I could see him maybe as a post SummerSlam call-up. Now I'm thinking about it. I think just have a pissed-off Bron beating up people, and Dragunov challenges Bron. Or I think that could be the match for
American Bash.
Bash.
That's in a while, though. That's in 2 months.
It's in like 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Well, I mean, that's July 30th. So
yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And then I think you could have him debut at SummerSlam or come out after or the Raw after SummerSlam, something like that.
Well, wait, aren't the Steiners from Michigan? Steiners are from Michigan. SummerSlam's in Detroit.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
debut at SummerSlam.
A pretty big reaction.
Have him be
something about Bron's wearing a black t-shirt and his chain and his cross and being a bad guy just makes his character way more interesting to me. Like, I just love this guy now. So I would like to see that Ilja match now that you kind of brought that up, and that would be a good way to have his exit.
You could do like a babyface beats Theory for the US title, and Bron just spears him out of his boots after the match, that kind of thing.
Right.
To like set up a big first feud for Bron, maybe.
Yeah.
But his time is probably this. He's been working on this heel persona. It's working. I think in ring he's ready.
He does they'll just do what they're doing with Brock and Cody. He'll cost Ilja the match and then sets up that feud between them, and then that's kind of his goodbye to NXT, possibly.
Yep.
And then move him on up. But yeah, Melo successfully winning. I would like to see him have some TV defenses going forward against some people, and then I wonder who his opponent would be for the Great American Bash. But all in all, this was a great show. Like, some really good wrestling, and NXT has been hitting. Like, the last one, I think this was better than the last one. I would say my match of the night was the last man standing match. Dragunov just doesn't miss. But you got a great 3-way opener with the North American title. That was great. Was retaining. The Heritage Cup match was pretty interesting, and I definitely got into that more than I thought I would get into that, being a huge Noam Dar fan. And then the tag match, I guess, was maybe the weak point of the show, but even that was still like a good match.
Nothing like shat the bed on this show. I thought it was like good to great, some of these matches, and I think NXT is on a bit of a roll at the moment. I think there's still goofy shit, but they've toned down the goofy shit. I think in general the storytelling's been quite logical. You see where it's going. They do build everything week to week, and now you've got the talent there as well. The kind of those PC recruits from 2.0, they've come into their own now. You've got a sprinkling still of your veterans like your Dijaks and your Dragunovs and Wesleys and stuff. I think NXT is really cooking right now. I think it's a shame that they try to counter program, whether deliberate or not, because I think way more people might, give this show a chance who haven't dipped into NXT for a while.
We always, when it's NXT, we usually try to, we're post wrestling. We try to go with our post show. We're doing this a day later because, it was up against things. We had friends that we were gonna have a watch party, but no one was interested in doing that. Double or Nothing was super cold, so we just had a bunch of people over and watched the pay-per-view. But going on social media today, I didn't see no buzz about this show. I feel like we only in the circle of our podcast of hearing people talk about it. I haven't really seen too much buzz about it, but even though I'd say it was probably a better show.
From you're searching NXT on Twitter, and people are very positive, and a lot of people have said that they kind of preferred it to majority of Double or Nothing, which I think will give us thoughts on that in a bit. But
really love this show, and kind of going back to where kind of NXT kind of was. You have the matches that deliver. You have only a few matches on a pay-per-view. They're traveling to different places. Finally, you see how a starving crowd that, people do follow these characters. People are getting more involved into it. And I think the past few weeks specifically of just NXT's been having, a good match here or there that stands out. You're like, whoa, if you're not watching the show, these are some, some rare candies, some hidden gems. And a show like this is just kind of full of just some fun stuff. So they're definitely getting back to the NXT that I kind of love. Right, further away from the paint splatter stuff and to its own entity, and I'm really into it.
Shall we go to some feedback, see what you guys thought about this show?
Yeah, go for it.
We start with Sean, who says, I forget you look away for a second in a Wesley match or you'll miss some crazy shit. Yes, Sean. I'll go down to the next one as well because that was short. But Dylan says, first time, long time.
Hey, first time in a long time. Wow.
Haven't had one of them for a long time. He's been busy finishing vet school.
Wow. Congratulations. Saving animals.
Finally graduated, and to celebrate, I went to NXT tonight.
Wow.
And the show did not disappoint. The North American title match was a great opener. Dar's new group is interesting. Guess the guy has a type. Ilja and Dijak killed each other. Never seen someone put themselves through a table to get to the person on the other side of it before. Tiffany deserved this win. Really impressed with how far she has come. My only negative of the night was Gallus retaining. I don't get what Sean sees in them. Mello winning in his home state was a great way to send the crowd home happy. Easy 9 out of 10 show. All bangers.
Wow. Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks, Dylan.
Always love a live report from the shows.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people, this is from our Facebook group too. Join the Poisonrana Facebook group and page there. But always love feedback from people attending live shows, especially if we're not there to attend them live. But thank you, Dylan. And I hope you're saving some animals. We saved some animals recently when we climbed the CN Tower.
We did. I didn't have a good day today, though.
You didn't save
I walked into a goose.
You walked into a goose? Is the goose okay? Are you okay?
The goose previously was injured, and I didn't see the goose.
Yeah.
And then just felt flapping on my legs. And was like, what the fuck? And
man.
It was a goose, and some guy yelled at me. He was like, yo, it's injured, bro. And I was like, I didn't fucking see it. Why would I walk into a goose?
You're a goose.
Yeah, silly goose.
Who's the goose? We go to Sean, who writes in here. Battleground was a great show. Better overall than Stand and Deliver, in my opinion. And the Lowell crowd was on fire all night. Special shout out to the Wesley for being... To Wesley, not the Wesley.
The Wesley.
For being amazing again. Ilja and Dijak for sacrificing their bodies to put on what was probably the match of the night. Julius Creed for being one of the best hot tags in the biz, and Tiffany and Lyra stepping it up in a huge way, and Bron Breakker for being such a great bad guy. This might have been the show of the weekend.
Wow.
Thank you, Sean.
We go to Cameron, who says NXT Battleground was the most consistent show throughout, in my opinion. I think he's probably comparing to Double or Nothing. Every match was a decent level, and man, did stars show up. North American title match was great, and Lee and Bate got Gacy's best match out of him. Ilja versus Dijak was fantastic. Ilja's intensity made him one of a kind. I'm guessing they want a long reign for Melo, so I'm thinking Ilja is the one to take the title off Lee. What a banger that would be. Dragon Lee versus Dar was okay for me. The rounds match was the downfall. It didn't really flow, but there was some decent content for sure. Lyra showed up tonight. Fantastic match. Best women's match in ages in NXT. Bron v Melo was better than the first, but I still don't think they have the chemistry we want them to have. Bring on a new challenger for Melo. Heard rumors that tonight's was the last NXT show for a few of the stars, and more call-ups on the card over the next few weeks. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of agree. I did think that women's match was one of the best women's matches just they've ever had in years.
Yeah.
A year or two, possibly. I really liked it. And yeah, it kind of did seem like, hey, you could pull the trigger on some of them that have the stories, where are they going to go from this point on? And then we go to Megan, who writes, last man standing match made it so hard to follow. Ilja hurting himself through a table to get the Dijak had me howling. Stratton and Valkyria was a breakout match for both. Lyra's bum knee provided an out for a rematch down the line, possibly to dethrone her. Bron Melo made up for Stand and Deliver, and the clear-cut distinction helped. Wesley continues to be the winningest NA champion in recent memory, and Noam Dar has a lifetime invitation to the cookout, as it took 3 people to beat Dragon Lee. I don't know where he goes next, if he's going to continue to chase the supernova. And then some Double or Nothing stuff that we'll maybe read afterwards. But yeah, kind of everyone's agreeing. Everyone's saying Dijak and
positive show.
Ilja were cooking, and that table spot was obviously a ton of fun. As I was howling too. But yeah, NXT. I was gonna say stood and delivered, but that was the last show. So they battled
the ground.
They battled the battleground. They've won the battle, but the war has just begun.
Yeah.
So that was NXT Battleground. I hope you guys enjoyed us talking a bit about it. There was a lot of other wrestling, though, this week.
A whole lot of other wrestling.
There was so much other wrestling.
Shall we stick with WWE as we're on
Sure.
WWE to start with?
Yeah, let's talk about some WWE, because it was a great weekend show.
We had a lovely Saturday afternoon.
Is this what it's like?
Watching wrestling before heading to work. It was pleasant, very pleasant.
Like you're watching like a football game during the weekend, and you're like, oh, I'm going to
love this. Night of Champions from Jeddah, getting rowdy in Saudi.
How is that not a show name? We were
Rowdy in Saudi,
getting rowdy, because Jeddah doesn't like roll off. There's nothing like the battle in Jeddah.
Yeah,
Jeddah, it's like the getting rowdy in Saudi.
I overall really enjoyed this show. I thought it was pretty consistent top to bottom, and once again WWE putting on a really strong PLE. I think the thing that I think you've got to sing WWE's praises for this year is going to different locations. And okay, we're like halfway through this 10-year deal with Saudi. It's not the first Saudi show we've had, but they treat it now like it's canon. It's not a stadium house show. These are proper stories with stakes, and I just think you've had this run of like the obviously WrestleMania, the Puerto Rico show. Now you got Money in the Bank in London next month. It just allows for such hotter crowds, and there's obviously all the politics and stuff with Saudi Arabia, and I mean John and Wade cover that extensively. But I find you're looking at this crowd. This is a crowd that follow the product, and they want to watch wrestling, and why shouldn't they?
These people reacted to the characters, the matches. They had signs for people that weren't what seemed given out. You know what I mean? So like, it seemed this was a crazier crowd.
There was a Thola Monster sounds off sign. Like,
it must be huge in
Saudi.
Must
be a wrestling fan.
If there's a Saudi listen, if there's people who listen, like this did not feel like the other Saudi shows that they've done. This felt like an actual just a pay-per-view that happened to be there. That's what this felt like, and I can't say the same for some of the other ones they've done over there. So this one just felt a lot different. Yeah, they still made a shit ton of money. Is it dirty? Who knows? But the crowd were having fun watching some wrestling. And this is the first one I definitely got like into, and it felt like a normal pay-per-view, and it had some really good matches that we can quickly run through like what went down, because I did enjoy this show. Opening the show, the curtain jerker, the new World Heavyweight Championship is going to be given out to whoever wins the opening match. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. Seth coming out in his Cheetor Jacksonville.
I thought he was trying to appeal to Tony Khan here in his Jacksonville baby blue and leopard print, cheetah print, or jaguar print, I guess.
But like blue and stuff too.
Nice.
Yeah. So Seth beating AJ Styles here. What did you think of this match?
I thought this was good. I think, and I find this a lot of the time with AJ Styles in recent years, where you hear him versus X and you go, oh, that's going to be a really good match. And it doesn't hit that next level for me. I thought this was solid. I didn't think there was any doubt who was winning this, this World Heavyweight Championship. I thought the match was like good and solid as you'd expect from these two, but didn't hit that next level where what I think a dream match like this should be capable of.
Totally agree. I didn't think too much of this match, to be honest. They're good. AJ Styles is in this like coasting thing. Is he surfing lately? He's just like, I know he just came back from an injury, but I just feel like he's just does the same kind of style. Seth, for me, I know he's so over, at least his theme song is. I don't understand what his character is. I think it was the right decision, but it just shows that this guy gets this runner-up title and like he's their guy who puts on good matches, who's really safe. But I still don't think he's in the like upper echelon of the guy, and I don't necessarily think he's ever really been that or ever will be that.
I think this reign is kind of it's going to be his mission, you know, like he's going to be putting on regular title defenses, kind of do what, you know, Cena had with that US title, just have a lot of good matches on TV, on pay-per-views. I think the guy is a great wrestler. And I've really enjoyed, especially in the last year or so, a lot of his stuff. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of work to get this championship to mean something, and I don't think opening the show helps that case.
No, it's your opening title match.
You've forgotten about it by like 3-4 matches in.
Yeah,
you know,
it's so weird that this like. So there's a World Heavyweight Championship that now they're saying does not follow the lineage of the other world title, because obviously that one's being held by Roman.
Right.
So this one's just a brand new title that is also called the WWE World Title. And then you got the you got the World Heavyweight title, the Universal title, then you got the Raw Women's title, then the Smack, like what's
on the other brand.
It's just so, can we sort this out somehow, some way? I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, Seth winning, I think that was the right call, and he could have some great matches. But it's like, is this just the house show championship now? That's what it's
pretty much. Pretty much.
That's what it's gonna be. So good on you, Seth. We also had Trish Stratus returning to face Becky Lynch. Trish turning heel was just so great. I've not been watching Raw or SmackDown. I'm sorry, it's still a show I can't do, but I love watching and finding out in clips and stuff. And Trish, the past little while, has been pretty good. Actually, her and Becky's back and forth have been pretty good, and I thought this match kind of lived up to it. I did not like Trish versus Charlotte at SummerSlam. We were there live in Toronto. I didn't think that lived up to the hype. I kind of thought this one did, and I loved Becky dressed as Kill Bill outfit there as Uma Thurman. That was pretty cool. But even cooler, Zoe Stark from NXT getting the kind of big rub here, helping Trish win, aligning herself with Trish Stratus, which will definitely give Zoe some heat going forward. But yeah, what'd you think?
I really like this. I think what Trish has always been good at, and we recently did a best match ever, Stephanie McMahon.
We have.
Yes. And there's Trish versus Stephanie. And this is before Trish is the wrestler Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
This is manager Trish Stratus. And we actually both went, that was surprisingly quite good for the time.
Yeah.
And I think Trish as a heel brings out this aggression where she's not afraid to hit someone. She's not afraid to be hit back. And I think when she's working as a babyface, she maybe works a little safer. Whereas I thought here, both really kind of beat the shit out of each other. And it made for a really entertaining match. And considering this is Trish's first singles match in 4 years.
Since that SummerSlam, right?
Since that SummerSlam. And if you think that was only one singles match for the first time in years, like it's really like her first match in a long, long time. I thought she looked fantastic. I loved the finish with Zoe Stark. I think I think she's such a great heater because she's a bit of a hoss herself.
Yeah.
Becky just, I assume it was from the
Stratisfaction.
just smashing her face, but Becky always, this is a weird sentence to say, she always looks good covered in blood. She's it just makes her look badass.
She is.
And I think this match is strong enough to do at SummerSlam. And now you've got the introduction of Zoe Stark.
What match? A rematch?
I think so. I think Money in the Bank, you can either have Becky v Zoe, or you can have Becky try for Money in the Bank and have Trish/Zoe screw her out of winning it. And I think this is one you can run back, because Becky eventually does need to beat Trish.
Yeah.
And Trish probably isn't going to be around here forever. I'd love to see this in Detroit.
I would like to. We're going to SummerSlam, and I would like to see this back. This one, maybe I had no hopes for it, but it did deliver. And I think storyline wise, they're both really good talkers and characters. And Trish in the heel role is just so much better.
I think Becky has become a better wrestler since becoming a mum, which is really weird. I was a fan of the character, but was never too high up on Becky Lynch's wrestling, and I completely take all that back now. I think she's with the kind of Bianca feud last year to like this match. I thought was really good.
What else was on the show? We go to the Intercontinental Championship, which was Gunther defending against Ali, which was pretty cool because there was some hope spots that I was getting into. Like, man, the crowd were biting on it, but so was I watching at home. And I mean, Gunther just doesn't have a bad match, but neither does Ali. And I wouldn't be surprised if we run this back once or twice on TV in the next few weeks.
I hope they keep this momentum with Ali, that he's been treated like a joke for quite a while now. And then it was like suddenly they just flipped a switch and it's, okay, he's not from Saudi Arabia, but he's a Muslim wrestler, so kind of representing these people in the stadium who gave him a great reaction. I love the presentation of Gunther with, you know, Ludwig Kaiser's big call for his entrance.
Yeah.
He feels like, so he's got this aura about him, and I think he carries it through to his matches. He hasn't had a bad match. He's pulled good matches in the last year out of people that I don't like.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his match against Braun Strowman, and I am not a Braun Strowman fan at all. I can't think of a bad Gunther match. I'm glad they gave it the time it did. I was worried they'd go full on squash, but Ali got his stuff in, and all you want is that one near fall that people bite on, and I bit on it. So I thought this was fun, and absolutely you could run this back on Raw at some point.
Gunther is having a crazy run. I'm such a big fan of the name. Finally, I'm like, who cares? Doesn't matter. He's just amazing, and I love the whole look with him and the boys. Like you said, that entrance. You know, Kaiser. I wonder if he made it back in time for Tiffy's big win in Boston. Probably not. But I love the whole like group as a unit. The intro, the way he does his intro. I love them when they wrestle. I love them in NXT, and now they're just killing it here.
He's kind of someone I'd like to see hold this IC title until he wins like the world heavyweight title as well.
Okay.
Have him double champ it for a bit, and then that's how he loses the IC, maybe.
He will be main eventing
because I
soon,
feel in the next year and probably this calendar year, I can totally see him against Seth for this world heavyweight title.
True, right.
So it's what you do with this Intercontinental and this crazy run he's having.
Yeah, absolutely. What else do we have? We had Bianca Belair putting her Raw Women's Championship on the line against Asuka, the evil, blue, scary, creepy clown Asuka, who in an upset beat Bianca, which a lot of people did not see coming. I mean, it didn't happen at WrestleMania, but it happened here at Night of Champions. She used the blue mist, but this time putting it in her fingers, in her taped fingers, as she learned from the great Muda, rubbing it into the eyes of Bianca as she kicked her in the head and put her out.
I think there are a lot of people that probably hated this finish. I actually quite liked it. I thought it was a little different, rubbing the mist in her eyes.
Making sure it's getting in the eyes.
Yeah, and I like the decision going with Asuka. I think you could have done this at Mania, like right away. This new version of Asuka, I think for her to lose again, it would hurt her a bit. Bianca losing in kind of a dirty way. You've already teased the Rhea Ripley match with Bianca, whether that's as far away as Mania, or whether it's, you know, Bianca wins Money in the Bank or something like that and challenges Rhea at SummerSlam. I think it's probably, she's had her run. It's time to move it on to something else, and it just opens up the division a bit more. I don't I don't think either of their matches have quite hit in the way I'd like it to.
Yeah, something's off with these two,
because
right?
Bianca has been Miss WrestleMania to me the last few years, and I didn't think the Mania match quite lived up to it. I'd say maybe similar way I felt about Seth and AJ. It's like, wasn't a bad match by any means, but I feel both are talented enough where you expect something a bit more special.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think Bianca going to SmackDown now, right? So she's gonna be. Is she on SmackDown now?
Bianca is on Raw.
Oh man, I don't care. It's like
Wait,
the title's the Raw.
No, Bianca's on SmackDown with the Raw title.
So now she doesn't have that title. So,
but Asuka's also on SmackDown
with
the Raw title.
Okay, so Trish is beating Asuka for the title. That's why they did.
It still does. Yeah,
they got it off Bianca for a reason, so that someone else could get it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind that actually. And then Becky beats Trish for the title.
Becky beat for the Raw.
Are they on
title?
Raw?
They're both on Raw.
Are they?
Yeah, I don't know.
Welcome to WWE.
Can they just call it the Universal Women's Championship and the WWE Women's Championship? Sure. It would make it a lot easier and get rid of red and blue.
Well,
then you don't have to worry. There's no worries. Yeah. You can just flip them around.
Well, the next match, I was really worried if Natalya was going to take this to Raw. Is she on Raw?
Natalya? I don't know. I didn't even know this match was going to happen until she's making her entrance.
Rhea Ripley beat Natalya in like 1 minute here.
On her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Natty. As Dominic Mysterio jumps into the arms of Rhea after the match and celebrates.
Yep, we didn't need to see a match between these two. This is what it should have been. Just an absolute demolition.
It was pretty funny seeing Dominic. I thought Rhea Ripley was wearing Edward Scissorhands cosplay here. It looked like the suits they got to wear. Right?
One, yeah.
What else did we have on the show? Oh yeah, the triple main event, right? So the triple main event was the opening match, and then this match, and then the actual main event. But the triple main event: Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes in a singles match, and in 9 minutes 40 seconds, Brock defeated Cody by TKO, technical submission knockout, because an arm hold made a guy pass out from the pain. The finish of this match. I actually really loved this match.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best Brock Lesnar matches for a long time, because it wasn't worked like your classic, your second run Brock Lesnar match. I think the introduction of the arm made the story of this match so much more interesting. I wonder how you tell this in story, because by all means, Cody Rhodes' arm should be just demolished at this point, which should take him out for months and months.
I mean, it's just storytelling. I mean, he was the only one who didn't get his arm actually broken from Penta and still kicked out of that arm breaker thing, right?
You need to just see him be like, Cena, my arm is fucked. It's like, follow me. And then he just comes back the next week with no cast or anything. It's like, I just took that Super Cena medicine and I'm good.
Yeah, or ask Rey Mysterio where he got his knees.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't this arm, what's this? This is the Kimura, right? Didn't this arm hold break Triple H's arm, break Shawn Michaels' arm? But Cody?
His arm's already broken.
He's in the, what was he wearing?
Titanium.
Yeah.
I was sure that was going to come into it, like just knocking Brock out.
Yeah, like Dusty would do back in the day.
But yeah, it was exactly a very Dusty thing with Cody in the arm. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think Cody is so over the top. It's wonderful. And I think these two have really good chemistry, and I think it's really revitalized Brock, actually.
Imagine this match as the main event with the title.
For the title. Yeah. Yeah, I think you could have totally done this entire card, but with
everything properly.
Roman going for the tag title.
Without a fake title in the beginning of the show, without all that.
Do you see this being SummerSlam?
Yeah, this honestly, Cody's just been great, man. Cody's awesome. So over in Jeddah, you'd think he was from there as well. The Saudi Nightmare. Cody, Brock 2. So now it's 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we go to Brock, Cody 3? Does Cody enter Money in the Bank? Brock costs him that, and we're seeing that at SummerSlam, or are we seeing Cody versus Roman at SummerSlam? Like, what do you think makes the most sense right now? Because we're going to SummerSlam, so we're kind of fantasy booking and super excited about it. And Either way, it's a big card.
Like, I was thinking Cody could win Money in the Bank and challenge Roman at SummerSlam, but now you've introduced the next chapter of the bloodline at the end of this show.
True.
I feel maybe that's a bit soon to go back to this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think you could have. I mean, Cody could technically maybe. I don't think you'll have him sit out Money in the Bank, but I do think this is the rubber match at SummerSlam. Maybe with some sort of
Hell in a Cell.
Maybe it's a bit soon after Mania, Hell in a Cell, and I know Triple H wanted to keep it like as a special attraction, but with Cody's story being in the cell last year,
Brock's history with the cell.
it could be something you do, or an I Quit match because you had Cody didn't quit, he passed out. Right. Maybe something like that. But yeah, I see this at SummerSlam.
Okay, so you're thinking this is one of the triple main events of SummerSlam.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to see it again. Like, sometimes there were rematches, and there was that, what was it, Mania 29, where it was just rematch Mania, and it was like, Whereas I think some of the ones, like a Trish Becky, like a Brock Cody, I'd perfectly be happy to see again.
I do think the third one will be big, so I do think a Hell in a Cell or something like that could make it even bigger. But this was a really fun match. And then the actual triple main event, the Tag Team Championship, both titles on the line. The champs Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn going against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Sami Zayn getting a god tier reaction and pop here in Jeddah. I mean, obviously with the whole
coming out in the traditional garb.
Yeah.
Looked great. This was a hell of an entrance. And to think this guy wasn't allowed to wrestle on these shows.
Yeah.
And we brought it up in the last Saudi show, how there were chants for Sammy.
Yeah.
And Roman's going like, he ain't here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to now having him have the last entrance for this match, closing the show in the main event, coming out representing like his faith and ultimately winning it as well is a pretty huge step.
I mean, he got like almost as a big reaction as Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, which I think was louder than CM Punk in Chicago. And then on top of that, you had Paul Heyman do the like whole like, hey, this, Roman Reigns, yada yada. And then when they went to introduce Sammy and Kevin, it's Sammy who did his own entrance speaking
in Arabic,
Habibi, and then got an even crazier reaction when he's speaking. Like, oh my god, I was loving it, dude. It was amazing.
I've got a translation here.
Yeah, what did he say?
Obviously, this is translation, so it
Wait, what does Habibi means? Love, right?
Habibi's love, yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently he said, calm down, calm down, calm down. Pray to the Prophet. We're in an Arab country. We have an Arab champion. We're going to do this in Arabic. Introducing the prize fighter, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Wow.
Awesome. We saw him do this in like Montreal.
Yeah.
Speaking in the French.
Tabernacle.
I think that you don't have that many talent who are as engaging as a Sami Zayn and speaks your language.
In different places. This guy was in Canada.
Yeah,
Jeddah.
awesome entrance.
Yeah, and pretty fun match too, man.
And then you go, yeah, this should be the main event.
Yeah,
absolutely
believe it. Yeah, for sure. So the reaction, the crowd were super into this. This was a great match as well. Reminded me of that WrestleMania match with the Usos. I have been lower on the Bloodline like storyline, but I'd say by the end of this, it definitely like. Again, you could have done it without the titles, and maybe it would have meant more. But okay, Roman Reigns wrestling on this day, which was his thousand days as champion. So you understand why they would keep the title, because they want to keep it. Have you seen the graphic with all the other champions? They mentioning Pedro Morales and Bruno Sammartino and Hulk Hogan, but like now Roman Reigns is in that category.
Top 5, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. So I actually really like this main event as well. Obviously coming with the big story at the end with the Usos. Did show up, but then Jimmy turning on Roman, kicking him, and then Jay's like, what are you doing?
Roman kept pie-facing him.
And he kicked him again, double tapped, costing them the championship.
I liked Jay didn't do anything to Roman, but did leave with Jimmy. And Jimmy was saying, like, I'm your brother, he's not, I'm your brother, which goes back to when Jay chose to be with Jimmy over Sammy, because he said, he's my brother, you're not blood. He's my brother, and I stick by my brother. Yeah. So I think there have been, a couple of missteps along the way. I feel this is maybe back on track now. Yeah. And, I also enjoyed the match. I thought they had the right level of storytelling, like that Roman cinematic style, walking around, talking shit.
Yeah.
with the kind of more high octane stuff from Sammy and Kevin, Solo as well. Got to sing his credit to just
one of the biggest rises.
Wow, like this guy we were talking about less than a year ago in NXT, and now he's so firmly in this main event.
And he's getting paid
scene. But also him taking the fall, so that like he cost it for Roman as well as the Usos. So you've got all that story going on. But I also, this gave me confidence because I know after Elimination Chamber, you're like, you had your opportunity to do that with Sammy. And will you ever be able to build up that momentum again? This to me said, yeah. And I know like as soon as Mania happened and Cody lost, everyone's talking about when is Cody going to challenge and win it? You could still do the Sammy thing at some point with Sammy going over Roman. He got the better of him here.
Right.
Like he beat Solo, but beat Roman in the same match.
Imagine
essentially.
he pinned Roman. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, so I think that's certainly something you could build up, and I still think it should either be Sammy or Cody to take Roman's title. Are we going to like Jimmy and Roman at Money in the Bank?
Yeah, possibly.
And then what do you do? Jay at SummerSlam?
It's possible. Yeah, that's two big like matches with the Usos being involved, but they are a popular like storyline right now, right? More interesting, I got a bigger question. Rikishi showing up on SmackDown this week because he was tweeting during this show.
Really?
He seemed pretty upset. He said enough. ... And then another tweet.
The new bloodline?
Time. The OG bloodline.
Like Rikishi and his boys?
Rikishi and he's not wrestling.
No,
but he's got to get. He's got
as a manager, like having. He can give Paul Heyman a stink face, surely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I again was really positive on this show. I thought top to bottom it was really strong, and even a well-placed squash match with Rhea and Natty in there.
No, I love the show. WWE's been on a run. As someone who doesn't watch Raw and SmackDown, if you just watch the PLEs, you'll think like wrestling's just on fire right now with all these great shows. Whether it was Backlash, WrestleMania, like they've been killing it, and I really enjoyed the show. The wrestling hit for me. Some of the storytelling really hit for me. They got me sucked back in with the bloodline. So like everything kind of hit on this. I'd say the only thing is puzzling and head scratching is this whole like runner-up championship thing, which the match was fine.
We got to see how they book it now. Really,
I guess.
In a year's time, I think when they brought back the world title the last time round, it was just Bischoff giving it to Triple H.
Right.
And I think by the end of that title's reign, it was definitely time to unify it. But there was certainly a point where that title was headlining shows and had felt like the title at one point. So they could do it again. It is off to a bad start, though.
Yeah. But overall, really love the show, and it definitely hit. WWE's doing good with these premium live events. They feel premium. We got to do more shows traveling. We got to go to the markets that don't always get shows or are just hungry and thirsty. Don't go to Corpus Christi, or maybe don't go to Vegas, as we can go to our next topic of discussion.
I hope this is a wake-up call to...
Has to be.
Not... Okay, your event is called Double or Nothing. So what? Fully Loaded wasn't always in Vegas, you know.
We got casinos other places.
There are other casinos. You don't. It's a stupid name. Just move on from Vegas, because thing is, this is Memorial Day weekend, which means it's a holiday in the States. And what happens on holidays? Flights double, hotels double,
or nothing.
And so. You're trying to get people to Vegas on this long weekend where it's going to cost a lot more. Whereas you go to like more of a, dare I say it, Chicago. But what I mean is it's so easy to drive into Chicago from so many places. You've already got a hub of wrestling fans there. I don't think Vegas is really known for being a wrestling hub.
Right.
It's known for people going on holiday to Vegas and to watch wrestling. And I think 5 years in, people that have gone to these shows, like, I probably don't need to go to Vegas for a 4th year in a row to see Double or Nothing. And then they give us this card. Absolutely not.
Yeah, AEW Double or Nothing from Vegas once again. And I mean, going into this has to be the least hype for a pay-per-view in
an AEW show ever.
At least ever. we mentioned we were going to have a bar party, and interest dropped significantly, and that we just said, now let's just have everybody at our house and watch it. And some of our friends were like just not interested in watching this card, considering a year ago we did have watch parties that were like bumping, and people were super into it. But it felt like a show they needed to get past this show to get on to bigger and better things.
Forbidden Door and
sold out
from
shows.
Our point of view, we are more excited about them. Forbidden Door is on our doorstep, and we're going to London for All In, so we are more excited about those shows. But I think the wider wrestling world are as well. You've got all this nonsense with CM Punk coming back, so people want to know where he slots in. People want to know what dream matches we're going to get at Forbidden Door. People want to know what is the biggest match you can put in a stadium for your biggest show. So unfortunately, this became an afterthought, really.
Yeah, we love AEW. They already have our money. We're going to Forbidden Door. We're going to Dynamite. We're going to All In. But like, and who knows what else, collisions and so forth and stuff. But like, this one did not hit for me. Really, maybe my least favorite pay-per-view. But then I had to look up. I had to be reminded of that other one, All Out, from a few years back, that I just really did not like as well. So. It's up there.
Yeah, okay, that was the one on my birthday, wasn't it? With the Mimosa
Mayhem, a dentist match.
Yeah,
that
was
one probably
bad.
still takes the cake, but this one just didn't quite hit for me. But Double or Nothing, we can go give some thoughts throughout this. We had the opening. Well, first the Hardys. We actually skipped that match. Jeff did this spot where people were online are saying like, "Hey, Jeff needs to give it up." But when I watched it, it made it seem like he was selling. So I wasn't.
Well, it was that his knee was then worked on for the entire match.
So I was like,
so
I think he's been doing that spot for a long time, where he misses the Whisper in the Wind and slips. But I don't. Did Ethan Page get his contract bought by the Hardys?
So he's now a Hardy or something.
Ethan Hardy. Nice.
Just burn his contract. Yeah.
Battle Royal for the International Championship, Orange Cassidy putting on the line. So this was not like a surprise like entrance Royal. So no Goldberg, which instantly got my hopes down. Something in this match that did make me laugh. So a bunch of guys are fighting outside the ring before like they get in the ring, which then how the match would start. Commander, who's an awesome luchador, famously does the running the ropes spot. He does it and then goes into the match, which is like, okay, good thing you did that before, because you wouldn't do that to like eliminate yourself. He goes for it again while he's in the match later on, and someone just goes, "Why are you doing that?" and shoves him, and he gets eliminated, which made a lot of sense. The finish came, which I've never seen this in a battle royal, where someone's always hanging on, and Cassidy just goes, "Eh."
It was great. They've been fighting on the apron for quite a bit.
Him and Swerve,
like teasing back and forth, and then Swerve's holding on. He's cocking his fist for the orange punch. Then just lightly kicks the hand. It was such a funny finish. The
match itself was like not that great. I'm definitely over AEW battle royals. They don't know how to do them properly. But the last like 10 minutes where it kind of just showed me we should have just had Swerve versus Orange Cassidy as the pay-per-view match, because they were great together in the final minutes of it.
This just was muddy. You've had this Ricky Starks feud with Bullet Club Gold going on, which then is just being thrown into this battle royal. Ricky later seemed happy because he's like, "Hey, I came in with one job and was to eliminate those two, and I did." It's like, okay, don't you want championships?
Yeah, come on,
Ricky. So I think when you saw the lineup, when you realized, I thought this might go later in the show to kind of break the show up, and you might have an angle where, Dustin Rhodes has been taken out. So you're going, oh, we're going to have a surprise.
Goldberg.
Yeah, there was no surprises like that. And therefore, once you saw who was in it, you go, oh, it's kind of got to be Orange. I did enjoy Orange and Swerve at the end. I thought they had a nice, like, little taste of a match they could have. But ultimately, not the way I'd have opened this show.
No, especially when you have competition.
Yeah.
People flipping channels and being like, you know what? I have the network anyways. Maybe I'll watch this. But yeah, I think Swerve and Cassidy will have a one-on-one match probably this week or on TV, because Swerve is good and they're sitting on a star. I don't know what's been going on with him and, was it Trench or whoever his boys were? Now he's
the Mogul Embassy now.
Yeah, it's like, man, honestly, just be on your own at this point. Like, you're good, but I thought that part of the match was good, but the rest of it I just could not care about. We then went to Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho in an unsanctioned match, meaning it's nullified. It's not going to be on paper that this happened. But Sabu is the special guest enforcer. Where did Sabu go? in this match. The match started with a bunch of just chaos with the Undisputed Era minus Kyle O'Reilly and minus Bobby Fish plus Sabu.
This was kind of odd because Adam Cole brought him in to be in his corner, and then it said that he's an enforcer, which means you should be impartial. And then you start with just the JAS and Sabu kind of taking them out,
Fighting.
and then they just disappear. I wonder, because when Sabu showed up on Wednesday, there was a lot of buzz online about people being like bringing up previous comments
From a few years back,
a few years back, and whether that gave them the decision to maybe scale back his input in this match. It's like, we've already announced him, we're not going to pull him, but maybe not have him do as much as we might have thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
Because it was just this pre-show, like little pre-match kind of brawl.
And then poof.
And then they all disappeared, and it was just a one-on-one.
I was thinking to myself on Thursday, I was like, did I just get extra lit last night? Or did Sabu show up and join the Undisputed Era on AEW Dynamite?
That's what happened.
And then I was like, no, that actually happened. And then JR, for some reason, is on commentary on this pay-per-view. And I'm got to give him credit where credit is due, because JR didn't know what the fuck was going on for this whole show. But he did know what was going on when Sabu was beating up Jericho and his people and going through tables. JR's like, hey, isn't that guy like a referee or something? Why is he attacking it? And I went, good point, JR. And then we never saw Sabu ever again.
Nope.
And then Adam Cole beat Jericho up by punches.
Yeah, referee stoppage just kept on. He's whacking him with the kendo stick, getting retribution from the attack on Britt. And
Britt
then
showed up to help too.
And he was potatoing him as well.
His eye was bleeding.
Yeah. I really didn't like this match.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoyed that Roderick Strong Jericho match from a couple of weeks ago, I question whether it was a good idea to do, because it set such a high bar for this match, and I thought this was really boring.
Yeah, it didn't hit. I love Jericho, one of my all-time favorites. He had a great year last year, but I don't know. I love Cole as well, and this would be a dream match in a lot of times.
We've seen Cole, like especially in his NXT run, do a lot of unsanctioned kind of matches. He had the Texas Death Match with Adam Cole. Like I would say, like
Kyle O'Reilly or someone.
I would say it's kind of with Adam Page.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
I would say like he's one of the kind of people who you'd put in these hardcore matches. And Jericho is very versatile, where he can work kind of any match. This is just dull. The feud has been boring.
They're using chains and chairs. I just wasn't into it. And I love both.
I don't know if part of it is like there's only so much we can do because we've got the Anarchy and the arena match later.
Yeah.
But I actually really didn't like this at all.
And then as funny as it was, like Sabu is here for reasons. He was in it for 20 seconds. So all that hype on Wednesday for no reason. It's just like, what?
It felt long as well, I thought.
It wasn't, though. It wasn't
17. It's a decent amount of time.
Yeah, that's long.
I feel I say this a lot, but I would like to see Jericho take like a month off. I'm sure he's going to be on Forbidden Door and All In and whatever, but I feel he feels the most overexposed he's ever felt to me at the moment.
Yeah, but then he'll come back and then you'll go, he needs to take a break again. Like he just needs to go away for a break.
I'm not saying he should go away forever, but I think it would help him to, even if it's just like a month and you come back the week before Forbidden Door just to hype up whatever you're doing in that.
Yeah, I didn't get into this match, and I wasn't really sure about the whole Sabu stuff. It just felt really cheap and trying to get a reaction and a pop for whatever reason. I mean, at least Tony Khan's dad was a fan of Sabu showing up, apparently. He went, I know that guy, Sabu, because he took him to ECW all those years ago.
True.
But you know what? Seeing a glimpse of Sabu, it only wet my whistle and makes me want to go back and rewatch some Sabu. So that is why we've decided over on our Patreon this weekend, we will be having a best match ever Sabu.
Oh, yeah.
So please let us know your favorite Sabu matches to check out as we will be recording this Friday afternoon. We'd love your feedback for this one. Anything Sabu, homicidal, genocidal,
Yeah, I'm looking down the list of certain matches, and they all sound quite ridiculous and fun. So I think this should be a really fun show to do.
Sabu, yes. Please let us know your favorite Sabu matches, moments, memories.
Yeah.
We'll talk all about it this week over on the Poisonrana Patreon. So thank you, Sabu, for influencing us to do this podcast.
You may have disappeared from the show, but you're not disappearing from our Patreon.
And you know what? Wednesday, I was laughing. I was like, is he wearing his VIP lanyard? And then he was wearing it again on the pay-per-view. But then you told me that it's not.
Apparently, it's like his ex who passed away a couple of years ago.
He keeps it on him all the time. So you know what? Bless Sabu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's always pointing up to the Sheik.
Yeah.
He's just always there for people sometimes. So we'll look at the wrestler Sabu.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much of his personal affairs.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Cool. But yeah, Sabu, best match ever, coming out later this week. But back to Double or Nothing. What else did we have on this show? We had a tag team title match. FTR taking on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal with Sanjay, Karen Jarrett for reasons. Imagine paying Karen Jarrett money to be like, hey, you're going to help boost pay-per-view sales. That was definitely not the case. This match didn't hit for me as well as I thought it was. I'm a big fan of Jarrett and Lethal coming in, but I think there was a misstep with FTR and the Acclaimed and the Guns there. I think the titles should have went to these guys and then have FTR win them here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I didn't really care about this match as much as I thought I would. So FTR retain in an okay TV style match.
Yeah, you had the finish was what? Briscoe slapped Jarrett into the big rig, or the Shadow Machine they're calling it again now, for the win. Yeah, I'm the same. It didn't quite hit. I didn't think they got those great near falls we've seen Jarrett and Lethal have quite a few times in these matches where you go, are they going to win the tag titles here?
Right.
I didn't think you got that. I've really enjoyed the comedy of this unit. For some reason, it's just worked. These guys with Satnam Singh and
especially
Sanjay
since
Dutt.
the farm.
Yeah, they've been really entertaining, but I think we say the same thing about kind of Omega. Like, we kind of want you to start doing serious stuff again now. I feel the same with FTR.
Yeah.
I think Wembley should be FTR versus the Young Bucks. You're now on the Forbidden Door cycle, so you're going to have a New Japan team take on FTR.
What team?
I have no idea.
Not Aussie Open.
No. But I think for Wembley, it should be FTR versus the Bucks for these titles.
Yeah. Fair enough. Like, why not? What other teams are in that position to do that? The Hardy Boys? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there isn't another team, so that would be the match to do it at. Yeah. What else was there? Wardlow defeating Christian Cage in a ladder match. That there was some really cool spots in this match, to be fair. One of them was Arn Anderson, clear as day, eating a blood pack in his mouth that he had a hard time struggling to pop as he was biting and chewing on a dinosaur's fingers.
Yep.
And then there was just so much blood in his mouth for reasons. And Wardlow doing his best Jeff Hardy impersonation by hitting a huge swanton off a huge ladder onto Christian through some ladders, which was nutso. And then eventually winning and beating Christian.
Yeah, I think this up to this point was the best match on the card. I think we saw a bit more from Wardlow than we have done. It wasn't just relying on, the Powerbomb Symphony. We got to see him do some other stuff. I think Christian's been such a fantastic heel, like in his, since he turned really in AEW. So I enjoyed this. It wasn't, I'd say, like one of the top matches of the weekend, but certainly, like including the pre-show, 5 matches into the card, this was one I finally went, okay, now we're kind of cooking something.
Yeah. And Wardlow with the TNT title, like, I think it would have been more interesting if Christian won, but now Christian's looking at the AEW roster, like, okay, who else's dad is dead?
Yeah.
Who can I feud with right now? So I love Christian, and I thought this was actually pretty good.
Who's the next challenger for Wardlow? Because it kind of, you thought, like, I was thinking maybe this is to, like, then build to Luchasaurus, but after this match, I didn't really get that impression.
Yeah.
Goldberg.
I mean, you probably do the Luchasaurus singles match on TV, like this week or something, but yeah, Goldberg come in and beat Wardlow. Show him how it's done.
Yeah.
We had the singles match for the Women's World Championship, sort of. Jamie Hayter, the champion, defending against Toni Storm. It would be, like, a lot better to maybe, if you didn't, I don't know. Okay, so what happens is Jamie doesn't make her entrance and then is dragged out by the Outcast who had beaten her up. So she's injured but still wants to wrestle, and then Toni Storm takes advantage and in like 3 minutes pins her and becomes champion. Okay, I understand why you're doing this because Jamie is not cleared, but Tony Khan telling us in like what media calls this week being like, oh yeah, she's not clear to wrestle. Still advertising this match. When WWE does that, I really don't like it. So I guess this was the easy way around.
You got the match.
Yeah, like
you got the match.
Like I really enjoyed their match at Full Gear, and I thought that we were going to get a step up to it. In return, I think we'll just get this match a few months from now, possibly at Wembley when Jamie is healed up.
I found this all a bit odd. Like I didn't mind the angle. I think
you need to do something if she's not.
Yeah,
if she is injured,
I didn't
right?
mind the angle. We don't know how injured Jamie Hayter is. What I found interesting is clearly she's injured, but she's okay enough to do. She did physicality here.
Yeah.
It wasn't like she was just dragged into the ring and pinned. Like she had a bit of back and forth. And I just think about, one of Punk's recent rants was he wasn't cleared for that match against Mox. So they did this same thing and he said after that, I shouldn't have been talked into that. I should be doing no physicality if I'm not cleared. And it seems like that's what they've done here. I imagine they booked this thinking and hoping Jamie would be cleared and they'd have a proper match, because I would think if you were going to do like something like this, you'd put the title on Saraya, right? And then you have Jamie healthy by the time it's all in for Jamie to beat Saraya in London.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bit weird now that it's on Toni.
But Tony's been on a run.
Tony's been great. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but she's not the Saraya is the leader of that faction.
Yeah.
And especially building to like a UK match, you'd assume it would be her and Jamie. Although I'd way prefer to see Toni and Jamie at Wembley.
Me too.
So it's going to be interesting seeing where we go with this women's title over the next couple of months. I do see a bit of flip-flopping to get pieces in the right position.
Yeah. Absolutely. I hope Jamie comes back. I mean, Jamie, we were hoping we would get Jamie versus Mercedes at Forbidden Door in Toronto. I don't think we're getting either of them on that.
You got to think, though, if they did this level of physicality, it can't be too long she's out.
I hope so. Yeah. I would like to see the rematch properly, though, because I really love their Full Gear one. We go to, what else? The House of Black taking on the Acclaimed in an open house rules 6-man. Some funny stuff was the Acclaimed Max Caster's rap battle, dissing the House of Black, mentioning that they're getting away with blackface, or how you call yourselves the House of Black when you got no black guys in it. And then talking about how Buddy Matthews, was it something about how you're getting cucked by Dominic Mysterio?
By a kid called Dom.
Which now Rhea Ripley has tweeted, hey, at Dominic Mysterio, looks like we're over in both companies here tonight, which got a huge reaction. I think the reaction messed up Max Caster because he had to like reset for a second because he didn't expect all the laughs from that. The House of Black beat the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass in a trios match. The best part of this match was when Billy Gunn gets the hot tag towards the end. Rex House power slams the one and only Famouser, only to get kicked in the head. But he's like, he was yelling like, fuck you, and then gets kicked and pinned. But man, Billy Gunn
has a great hot tag.
Wasn't it like the last pay-per-view when we're like, yo, should Billy Gunn just be world champion?
I think so. I did say that. Did Max Caster wrestle in this match? I don't remember him being... I remember it all being Anthony Bowens being beaten down and then getting that hot tag to Billy. I don't remember Max really being in the ring at all. This was getting two big acts on the show. And everyone loves the Acclaimed. Everyone loves the rap and stuff. The match itself wasn't at the level of other trios matches we've seen in AEW. And I kind of think the house rules thing, they've had, 3 of these now? I really don't think that they've kind of used to full effect how interesting that dealer's choice rule could be. Yeah. Because the first dealer's choice was Julia Hart is banned from ringside. Okay. Second dealer's choice was trios tag rules, as in you don't need to tag. Okay, that was kind of cool. It was with the Luchas. And then this one is, we ain't doing a dealer's choice.
We're just wrestling.
I feel like you should have the next one. Someone should really establish something a
battle rap,
a little wackier, a little bit more outside the box. But yeah, definitely not at the level of previous trios we've seen.
Yeah, for sure. But Billy Gunn, man, it's a beast. Jade Cargill taking on Taya Valkyrie for the TBS Championship. I mean, you had Taya come out with some like cheerleaders or dancers or something, but then we had Jade come out with Big Boss Vet. And did you know, Davey, that pretty girls walk like this?
Of course I do.
Pretty girls walk like this.
Jade joining in on the dance as well with them.
The TikTok dancing champion. I knew it was all over for Jade when she started doing the TikTok dance in her entrance, and she kind of messed it up and then got back on track. She beat Taya in under 9 minutes in a pretty lackluster match. Didn't really care for it.
I'd say it was slightly better than their previous one, but for a veteran, I really don't think Taya Valkyrie is very good. I think she's quite sloppy, and whereas Jade Cargill is still very green, she has so much star presence and quality about her that I think it's forgiven. It is Goldberg in the 90s,
right.
You know? But I don't think these two work well together at all. And I didn't buy Taya as a really credible challenger.
After the match, they're talking shit and saying, anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place will take on any challengers. Well, someone heard that and answered the call. A returning Chris Statlander is beaming down from her home planet, or returning to her home planet, as she's here looking yoked. She was a monster here. Comes out. A ref says, hey, you said anytime. So they ring the bell. Actually, a little funny thing is she comes out and she cleans Jade's clock here, beating her with the combustible, the dude buster, essentially the bastard driver, and pins Jade Cargill after 60 continuous victories. There is, for the first time ever, a new TBS champion, Chris Statlander.
Yeah, good. There weren't many surprises on this show. I think this was a nice one. She's a fan favorite, Chris Statlander. By all accounts, this was meant to happen a long time ago, but the injury obviously delayed it. And Fightful reporting that Jade is likely taking a bit of time off after this, which is probably not a bad idea, and then have a return debut in a few months, feeling hot again. You've forgotten about this loss and maybe going for the other championship if we have a babyface as or coming back as a babyface to challenge a Tony Storm or whoever. But yeah, I thought this was a good move and kind of gave this show a bit of a boost it needed. Just some wrestling fans like surprises and returns and title changes. So
and she's a homegrown, a homegrown talent. For the people who were there who do follow, you could tell there was a reaction that they were happy. I'm a big fan of her. I was like, hey, I wonder if she's coming back soon, and was kind of happy to see her. Never forget you got a cameo for me for my birthday a few years ago from Chris Statlander, and she's dropped the alien stuff, but still has the little hints of it, which is proper for a character.
And I hope she stays healthy this time. Yeah, she's had two pretty bad injuries since being with AEW.
Yeah, pretty girls walk like this, and aliens exist. But yeah, Chris Statlander back. Then we go to our double main event. The first being MJF defeating Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Was anyone surprised that MJF retained the championship?
No, but I thought this was a excellent four-way. Sammy Guevara kicking things off, being like, hey guys, I promise you, I'm really honestly a babyface this time. Ty's pregnant. Please, fucking cheer me, guys. I'm having a baby. I'm gonna be a dad. I'm a baby face. Do you see any JAS stuff on my gear?
None.
No, I'm a daddy now. Yeah. So cheer me. But yeah, I thought this match was really fun.
Sammy Guevara comes out and he has new music.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, come on, you can't get rid of Darth Vader, Sammy Guevara voice, but whatever. He uses the cue cards to announce the pregnancy. The cue cards used to be his thing. So definitely trying there. Got a reaction, but I think then you got Darby with his Quentin Tarantino, Elvis Presley,
Dead
Las
Elvis
Vegas
thing, yeah.
That was weird. And then Jungle Boy just
Baltimore
comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the match, as you'd expect from these four, still no doubt that anyone but MJF was going to win it.
The devil.
I loved the sequence, and we've seen this in a lot of MJF's matches with Darby and Jungle Boy in particular. Whenever they have a singles, you have these great pinning combination counters, but this one doing it as the four, just rolling up each other up and different,
pretty crazy,
getting the snare trap into the Last Supper. I thought that because no one's kicked out of the Last Supper, and I loved how Darby applied it. Sort of, it was like, oh, everyone's out of the ring. It's like when you're playing 2K. Oh, the ring's clear. I'm gonna go for my pin right now to see if I can pick it up, and kind of desperately applies it, so doesn't apply it fully, and allowing, I think it was MJF to kick out. I thought that was a great spot. And then the 4-way submission was really fun.
There was a spot where like Darby finally gets the best of MJF and hits him with all his moves, hits him with the coffin drop, and hits him with the side headlock takeover. And Jungle Boy's the one to stop him from becoming champion.
Yeah.
Like that's a little ripple that they'll go into, I'm sure, with the singles match. And then finally the finish being MJF putting the title on Jungle Boy as he hits the coffin drop on him, and then the side headlock takeover, getting the win.
That's eventually, like, if it's, say, a Darby Allin taking the title from MJF down the line, you know exactly what the finish has to be at this point. I think it's such a cool thing they've introduced, and you don't need to pay it off right away, but when you eventually pay off that Darby win over MJF, maybe for a title, that's how it's got to be.
If this was a one-on-one, you could have believed Darby was taking it from him. I just don't think there was any belief that any of the other guys were going to. Again, get the destination of the actual match was awesome. These guys went almost like 30 minutes, and they were killing each other, doing some really incredible stuff and very impressive stuff, proving like, hey, these guys are showing like they're the future of wrestling. But it's still like, could have this just been a huge TV main event and everyone would have been buzzing about it? Instead, it's like, it felt like a lackluster build.
Well,
right?
I think maybe you're saving the Darby singles for further down the line. I don't know whether, like, because people seem to want that kind of Sting MJF retirement match.
Sure.
And if you're looking, you've got the pay-per-view the week after, you need to kind of be able to tell two stories at once with it making sense. And I think, Darby being the challenger at All Out, and he's either gonna challenge his best friend or his biggest enemy for the title at All Out.
Fair.
I think that would be a good story, that you could have Sting MJF at All In, and then Darby challenges the winner at All Out.
Book it, TK.
So I think maybe, and that's why going to this 4-way at this point. And also I feel maybe they want to do this 4-way before people leave, people get injured, whatever, and they can't do it.
It's great that they finally did it, and the match delivered. Don't get me wrong, it was awesome. It was definitely worth it. Just the build to it was just a bit not there, but you knew the match would deliver, and it totally did. MJF is leagues above the other three, but just in a great run, reminding me, oh yeah, you know what, you are on top of the game here. You are the best going, in my opinion. Just every little thing, to even his media scrum afterwards, kind of doing more punk type shit, like calling out Nick Khan and
I hadn't seen any of the scrum. Anything worth?
Yeah, I mean, he brings up Triple H, Nick Khan, and Tony's reaction. Tony, I think there was a work bit where Tony's now actually reacting like, "What are you saying? Stop saying this kind of stuff." Very punkish, which makes me believe maybe he's coming back to feud with MJF. I don't know. You could have had him come out after this, but really great 4-way match. We knew it would deliver. The Devil, I forgot to mention his entrance was pretty epic too, and then just Jungle Boys. But then the real main event, the Anarchy in the Arena 2, featuring the Elite taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, and the Elite getting their big entrance, singing Wayward Son together, Kenny and Hanger back together as a unit.
Singing, looking at each other's eyes and singing away.
Everything's just good again with these two back together. But then the Blackpool guys come out with a band. Was it Violent Idols, they said it was?
We had blackface brought up earlier in the show.
Yeah, but, our second blackface of the evening, possibly.
It was like, okay, it was a mask he was wearing and some makeup, but guys, just
Someone
have a look
hey.
and think, is this the best idea?
I understand that maybe I'm hoping that this was not out of like malice intent. Like they're just like, oh, we're a punk metal band that like are, if you search these guys, they are like somewhat famous. They tour and stuff like that. They're all wearing black. I understand, rockers wearing all black. The face paint, they're like, oh, I'll just do that. It's like, okay, well, like, you really should just maybe take a look at how you're dressing. But I would hope that it's just the way I don't know. But these guys are out and they're singing Wild Thing, which makes the entrance for the Blackpool Combat Club. And you could instantly right away knew where this was going. They're just going to play this song for 10, 15 minutes until the Young Bucks super kick them. And wouldn't you know it, that's what happened.
I love Taz. These band's got stamina.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Band's pretty good. I love Don Callis for whatever reason came down to commentary after the entrances, like slithered in. And they're Tony is now on commentary, and he's like, "What are you doing here? Get out of here! You shouldn't be here." He's like, "Oh no, I should be here. I should make sure I'm here." She knew there's some shenanigans coming, but he goes, "Oh, I like this band. They do the good music. They do a good music." He didn't know what to say.
The song definitely just adds to the chaotic nature of this match, and obviously they did this last year just with the track, and now it's an actual band playing it. I wonder next year, like, I don't think there's that many songs that could hit, but I also don't think you'd be able to do this a third time in a row. Like, you've done it live. Like, what is the next step with it?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, they'll just have to get some other song to play, I guess.
Get Joan Jett and whoever else on that original song, that one. This was crazy. This definitely delivered too. This was my favorite match of the show. The Anarchy in the arena was just as crazy as last year. I love the band doing the music. It's so different, right? Like, it just stands out with the music playing, with all these guys doing different things. I'd say a lot of stuff was missed due to like production errors or camera cuts, which it's got to be so hard to do. It's frantic. Like, I feel like you missed a lot of big spots. I'm pretty sure Matt Jackson did a moonsault off like the concession stand that we just did not see at all.
I think some of that adds to the chaotic nature of it, where it's like, holy shit, we're trying to catch everything. But there were definite times where they'd cut away, like Moxley is about to suplex Omega on the barbed wire, and it's, let's cut to Wheeler Yuta taking his shirt off. And you're like, guys, go back.
And then it cuts
must
back. He's
be
already
so
fell.
hard because you've got 10 things going on at once. But last year they managed to catch everything a lot better than this, I thought.
One of the best was Cesaro. Claudio's got Matt Jackson, I think, in like the pavilion area near the concourse, and he's doing the big swing and swinging him into the garbage cans and stuff, while it's picture in picture with Moxley stabbing Kenny in the face with a fork. That was a great spot.
I think more picture in picture would have helped. I think I said this last year. I'd love it with this one. Like, you used to get on DVDs, like, different cuts where you could see from different camera angles. This would be a great thing if you were releasing, I know DVDs aren't a thing anymore, but say on HBO Max, if that's where everything's landing, be like, all right, I'm going to watch this whole match from Claudio's point of view. Right. I'm going to watch this whole match from Kenny and Mox going at it.
Actually, it's something I've brought up before. AEW does not do what WWE does, and I think they should. And that's, go back and touch up your events. They don't do that. I've rewatched stuff, and you still see the guy blading. You still see them talking to each other. WWE is really good at cleaning stuff up. If someone botches in commentary, WWE usually fixes it. And of course, there's certain things you would leave in and leave out or whatever. But AEW does not go back. I've never bought an AEW DVD to see if they have touched it up. But like, when you buy these pay-per-views on Fight or whatever, you have the ability to rewatch it as many times as you want, and they never touch it up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because it is on Fight and it's pay-per-view, it's like, that's how it is.
How it airs.
But then if you have it on a streaming platform, maybe that's something that they do go through their archives and just tweak things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be possibly a case on Max where certain songs they had in the first year of AEW, they might not be able to use anymore, that they'd have to dub or whatever.
Fair enough.
So maybe, if that's the way things are going.
But this match was chaotic. It was nuts. I mean, you had Matt Jackson get pile driven into a truck. Missed opportunity was him coming back to the arena in the truck.
Yeah.
But instead, he shows up, he's limping, we're not sure what's happening, and then he super kicks Jon Moxley with an exploding super kick. Came out of nowhere.
It came out of the truck, I'm
I
guessing.
guess he
He woke up in the back of this truck, found some big, like, batteries and things and strapped it to his Jordan.
Yeah, this is a super kick that anyone in that new Air movie would be proud of. This Jordan super kick.
We're going to see this so much now on indies, I feel, this spot. But I think the fact that you weren't expecting it and suddenly Moxie's face explodes. It was like, what?
Yeah, I loved it.
It was great.
Selfishly loved it. I think it was supposed to do it again and again, but he just started super kicking everyone. But only the first one was the exploding one, which then Cesaro gets pissed and Danielson beat him up and they take his shoe off, his sock off. And then they put his bare foot into thumbtacks. Oh my God. I was like gagging at the sight of this. I could not imagine, like, stepping on a Lego hurts, but stepping full on into tacks. Do you see the pictures after? Oh my God, disgusting. I was screaming at my TV just as much as I was screaming when they were using the forks and using this and that. I also was screaming when Kenny and Hangman finally had their hook up spot where they're fighting everyone, just the two of them. I was loving that. It felt like a Western. And then finally the reveal of Don Callis getting involved, only to have a masked man revealing himself as Konosuke Takeshita, turning on Kenny, aligning himself with the Blackpool Combat Club and Don Callis. My heart could not take it. But yeah, the Combat Club win again. So Mox is just undefeated in this Anarchy in the Arena, his match that he created. So
yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was probably my match of the night. I think I preferred last year's more than this. I think there were some, maybe it was production or something. It felt a little sloppier than last year's.
Yeah.
There were some really fun spots though. However, with the thumbtacks, the exploding boot, the swinging in the concourse was fun. And I'm pleased they've gone this route with Takeshita. So I imagine now we're building up to blood and guts. And the Elite need a fifth person, and we're also in Forbidden Door season, so I'm hoping that we get to see Kota Ibushi singing Wayward Sons, looking in Kenny and Hangman's eyes.
Yeah, we need the Golden Elite reunion here. After the show ended, Kenny did get on the microphone after being turned on and said, "Okay, Takeshita, you wanna turn on me? You wanna fight me? Well, we have some other friends. We have some more to even up the odds." And Kota Ibushi has been talking some shit about Takeshita too, being like, "Yo, you're a ripoff of me," coming from DDT, trying to make it in the States. Yeah, we'll see. So you know what? I think this would have been a great time to introduce Kota Ibushi, but
I think you build anticipation. You've got the surprise of Takeshita turning. I think you could do that as soon as Wednesday, or when do you? I'm trying to look at the kind of schedule for AEW. I would imagine this match is before Forbidden Door. So where do you do it?
I mean, Forbidden Door is literally in a month. It's June 25th. So, I mean, would you do Kenny Takeshita at Forbidden Door?
Yeah, you could do.
Or would you do Kenny? Because there wasn't too much mention of like the Ospreay stuff, which we would have left to believe that we were getting that at Forbidden Door. But I don't know.
You've got June 14th at the Capital One Arena in Washington, which is where AEW had their very first Dynamite.
And Danielson's
there, yeah.
I would lose my mind if we're getting Danielson Kota Ibushi at Forbidden Door, because that's just a dream match I have not.
So that's something you could do. Like you then have the next week's Dynamite plus Remember Collision that you can finalize on the card. So I'd be looking at that June 14th as probably where Blood and Guts is going to be, and then the week after you can set up the singles matches, whether that be Kenny and Takeshita, Danielson and Ibushi, or something like that.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Overall, this pay-per-view did not hit for me. It was really a two-match show that felt like I got my money's worth of paying for the pay-per-view. Like, the 4-way was awesome, better than a TV match, and the main event way better than a TV match. Everything else felt like Dynamite level stuff. Some of it Rampage. So I was pretty down on this pay-per-view. But again, the two matches really saved this show for me towards the end. But as AEW pay-per-views go, there usually is success. They're usually such a hit that I'm raving about it the next day. But really, it was just these two matches that I'm like, yeah, those were good.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, could have watched NXT, and then after the main event, flicked across to watch the two main events of this show.
Yeah.
Which
for anyone who did that, good on you.
Which were excellent. Like, two excellent main events on this show. But yeah, the undercard was the weakest we've seen for a long time for Dynamite, for AEW rather.
Yeah.
What were your like matches of the whole weekend, do you think?
Yeah, that's tough. I really enjoyed Cody Brock too from Night of Champions. I really enjoyed Dijak and Ilja, but I also enjoyed Bron and Mello as well. But I'd have to say best show was maybe NXT, but best match, Anarchy in the arena.
Yeah.
I got really into it. All the silliness of it, the violence of it. Say what you want, but that was my match of the weekend.
I think I'd agree with you there.
Even though there wasn't any stapling of the mouths shut.
Oh yeah, that was that.
Which, if you were watching Under Siege Impact, you would have seen. Which was it? Steve
Macklin. Yeah.
Putting MC up, stapling his mouth shut, and then him having to remove the staples. That was pretty gnarly. But the Young Bucks got their feet put in thumbtacks and exploding things, so that was also cool. Yeah. What about you? Because I think Anarchy was my favorite match this weekend.
I think Anarchy was probably Anarchy and the four-way, I'd say. I think Anarchy, there's more doubt of who was going to win. So might tip it to that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the tag match from Night of Champions. I actually really enjoyed Trish and Becky from Night of Champions as well. But I think as a consistent show, NXT probably had the best show of the weekend.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like top to bottom.
As much as I did enjoy Night of Champions and just the crowds were felt more alive in those two shows. Double or Nothing, you're seeing reports like they didn't sell a lot of tickets. If you saw the hard cam side, it was empty the whole show.
Yeah.
People were you could tell they did not want to shoot the other way. They purposely said, don't go that way. We need to shoot this way because it was full. But you saw they were giving out tickets at the Knights game the night before. They're giving out, people who bought hamburgers were getting free tickets. Like, that's sad, but don't act like other wrestling companies don't do that, because they do a lot of time. But this is a total wake-up call, TK. You can't just keep going to the same places. Also,
they not just the deals they were doing on tickets, but the deals they were doing on pay-per-view. Yesterday on Fight, we got the 4 remaining pay-per-views of the year for $75.
Yeah.
Which normally they're about $30 per show. So you're saving quite a bit there. And so they've never introduced that before. So you got to think the pay-per-view sales for this one had to be weak as well.
Least, yeah.
Be really interested to see the numbers come out, because I think it's going to be one of their lowest.
I think it will be their lowest.
And they're going into probably 2 of their highest coming up.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah. Overall, I still enjoyed all the wrestling this weekend, but was down on Double or Nothing until those final 2 matches. Night of Champions was good. NXT Battleground was good. I'm excited for the summer of all the wrestling from all the different companies, all the different matches that we're going to get this summer. We have a lot of shows that we're attending. Obviously, we're going to Forbidden Door. We're also going to All In, and we're going to SummerSlam. We're going to some of the biggest shows this summer, so we are truly hyped. And for any of our listeners in any of those areas, if you are in Detroit for SummerSlam weekend, let us know. We're probably going to do a pre-hangout before SummerSlam on that Saturday. Wembley, All In. We will be across the pond. We will be planning. Follow this space in the next coming months or so. We will be announcing some stuff there. If you're planning on going to All In, we will be linking up with you people. And of course, the Forbidden... You people, you monsters, you Poison pals, you friends. Obviously, June 25th, the real party, the Forbidden Pour, Real Sports, upstairs in Toronto. Before the show, before Forbidden Door, John Way will be doing a live podcast. You and I will be doing some live games. There'll be prizes, there'll be drinks, there'll be fun stuff. And then afterwards, wrestling karaoke at night. It's going to be an all-out party, and we can't wait to see you fine folks. And anyone who can't make it, you'll be there in spirit.
It's going to be awesome. But this week looks awesome as well. We will be back on this very feed tomorrow, so you can catch us on the podcast feed or on the YouTube, on the Post Wrestling YouTube, talking all about the fallout from Battleground on NXT. And then we'll be back on Wednesday on this feed as well.
Whoa.
For a very, very special show. And I've managed to stay spoil-free so far.
Okay.
We'll be joined by Post Wrestling's John and Way to talk all about the finale of Succession.
Yes, the sesh comes to an end as Succession comes to an end. Yes, you avoided spoilers. I still have a few episodes to catch on before I'm going to go watch them tonight, before Wednesday. But yes, Davie, Braden, John, Way, together. We're like the Roys coming together. Who will walk out as champion at the end of the show? But yeah, Wednesday. Are we going live for this?
I don't think we're going live,
Okay,
but we'll put it up. And then we've got Shot in the Dark coming out Thursday. We've got Best Match Ever Sabu coming out this week. This week is stacked.
Yeah, go follow our socials. If you have Instagram, follow at Poisonrana.pod and Twitter at Poisonrana.pod for all the links of all the shows. But we'd love some feedback in for Sabu and all your favorite matches there as well. Become a Patreon, patreon.com/Poisonrana. It's only $5 to get a whole month's access of everything that's coming out this month, including Best Match Ever Sabu. We can fill you in on a few other shows we have coming up as well. Next week, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
As picked by Rob McDonald, one of our friends who works for Impact Wrestling.
Emmy Award winner.
Rob
McDonald has picked this Emmy Award. No, wait a sec. Yeah, he's a huge Batman fan, and he's kind of filling in the gaps as we've been on our journey talking about every Batman film.
And for those who may be getting excited about The Flash, which for some reason has Batman in it, a few Batman in it, we decided why not continue with a review of The Batman. Yes, we will be finally reviewing our Bats later this month as well. But yeah, patreon.com, go support the lads, support the boys. It's only $5 and you get access to like 500 podcasts there. We do What's Next, we do retro reviews, movie reviews, all that fun stuff. We even reviewed Tango and Cash.
We do.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff. But yeah, lots of podcasts. I myself, Braden Herrington, you can find me Twitter, Instagram at the Brady.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Thank you for listening. We cannot do this without you. We love you. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe.
Ahoy!
Poisonrana.